I've never seen a criminal defense attorney get up in court and ask the jury not to believe their client. But that is exactly what happened today at opening statements in the Tupac murder trial here in Las Vegas. Now, we knew what the prosecution were going to say. We know their theory. The 63-year-old defendant, Duane Davis, is the architect of the crime that led to the death of Tupac Shakur. Now, Duane Davis has entered a not guilty plea, but we didn't know what the defense were going to say. Now, his attorney started by saying, my client has actually spoken to law enforcement numerous times, most notably in lengthy 2008 and 2009 interviews. Do you want to know why he was never charged after those interviews, even though the prosecution claimed that he admitted to being in the car and supplying the weapon to the shooter? Now, I want to get this verbatim. He said, and I quote, "They never charged my client because they, quote, knew he was full of crap." In fact, he actually went as far as saying that the prosecution had no evidence that could prove that Duane Davis was actually in Las Vegas on the 7th of September, 1996. Now, he said, look, I know in his own memoir, 2019 published Compton Street Legend, he said, I was at the MGM, I was sitting second row at the fight, I was wearing my Sunday best, I was next to all the celebrities. But the defense attorney said, there's not a single picture of that. There's not so much as a ticket stub that can corroborate that he was there. At the end of the day, when the BBC asked him, are you telling the jury that your client is a liar? The defense attorney responded saying, and I quote, yep.
The state officially rests its case in the Tupac Shakur murder trial. Hi, I'm Kristen Drummond with News 3, and I've been in the courtroom. So, after 8 days of testimony and more than 20 witnesses called to the stand, prosecutors finished presenting their case against Duane Davis, the 63-year-old who is accused of orchestrating the drive-by shooting that killed Shakur nearly 30 years ago right here in Las Vegas. But before court recessed on Wednesday, Judge Carly Kearney advised Davis of his constitutional right not to testify and warned him that if he does take the stand, prosecutors can question him in front of the jury about a felony conviction stemming from a jailhouse fight almost 2 years ago. Davis did take a moment to address Kearney about that.
Is that why they sent them to attack me?
Now, according to Davis's defense attorney, Michael Samt, he is weighing his options whether or not to testify. Has he told you if he wanted to?
At this particular point, I think that's a question I can't answer because it's attorney-client privilege. But as of right now, he is contemplating.
So, starting Thursday, the defense gets its turn. Sam says he does plan to call a Metro detective who worked the Shakur investigation, along with 2 Metro officers who were present here in Las Vegas in 1996. But don't expect to hear from Marion Suge Knight, who survived the shooting while driving the car Shakur was in.
With him and talk with him for 2.5 hours. But when the defense came along and said, hey, we'd like to sit down with you and find out from you some more information, he told me to go pound sand.
Sam says the defense case should move pretty quickly. Stay with News 3 on air and online for the very latest.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to another King and Mighty King Media TV. Once again, I am your host, Ted King, and we're updating on the Shakur Peterson murder trial that will be against Duane Davis. So as you heard, the prosecution closed their case yesterday. So now the defense gets a chance to present their rebuttal to all the evidence that they have to show that Mr. Duane Davis, his name is Davis, yes, did not do any of the, well, they didn't, in other words, they hadn't met their burden of proof. That's basically what they're going to be doing. And so, yeah, we're moving forward. They haven't started the proceedings as of yet. It's still out until when they come back in, we'll see if we can chime in and see what they're talking about. But in the meanwhile, there's a lot of comments about, we had some comments yesterday the comments were regarding whether there were things that were met. And so I'm going to bring my partner in on this one and see what she had to say for today. Okay, here we go. Hey, how you doing, Miss?
Hey, sorry I'm late. I didn't know if we were for sure for today or not.
Oh no, you're not late. I don't think you're late. I mean, what we have, yes, we're on for today. I don't know why you think we won't be, but yeah, we're going to be talking about this until the end of the trial, until they come up with a verdict. And so yesterday we had a conversation, you and I, and apparently the conversation, I think, in my opinion, that I'm not sure, but you expound. Did you think that there have? Do you think that the prosecution has met their burden of proof thus far? In your opinion, I don't think they have. But I mean, in your opinion, what do you think?
Okay, that's a good point because we know that they have to have beyond, what is it called, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, a reasonable doubt. Correct.
Right. So there's some leeway there, right? So I was watching it a little bit last night, and his attorney, TPD's attorney, was saying they haven't even proved that he was even in Las Vegas at the time. Right? He brought up some good points, which is a good point, but also isn't, because I don't know if they can and prove that he was in Vegas. I don't know what the prosecution could do now because I know that they've closed their case, and I didn't watch everybody that they brought to the stand. In my opinion, I think that his own words is going to send him away. So maybe the prosecution has not proven its case completely, but I think TPD proved their case for them. So if the jury takes into consideration not just what he said on social media and on different platforms, but I think the main thing that's going to hurt him is the excerpts that they have from the proper agreement that he was given. That was by a U.S. attorney. He had to keep he had to be factual in his statements in order to get that agreement. So, and they have excerpts of that agreement in the documentary. So I think that's what's going to hurt him. So I think, yes, he's pretty much.
Okay. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hear this or not, but
The party stipulates the presence of the jury. Yes, you may be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now into the defense case in chief.
Okay, so this is the defense.
Stamp, who will be your first witness.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to call Stan Hite to stand.
Okay. Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. You may be seated. May I please please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Stan Height, H-Y-T.
Thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Stamp, you may proceed.
Sir, I'm turning your attention back to the year of 1996.
Yes.
How were you employed?
I was with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I was an officer working overtime on that date.
And when you say you were working overtime, how does that work exactly? Explain to the jury.
When there's certain special events, they ask people to, officers to sign and volunteer to work overtime. They pay time and a half.
And you know what the reason was for the need for additional officers on this particular night?
It was a night that Mike Tyson was fighting. It was collective people getting together for partying. They wanted to keep the peace, basically, keep things civil.
Right. And with regards to those types of events back in the day when we had boxing as our main feature,
Right.
There's a couple of us in the audience that probably is unfamiliar with how Las Vegas was. Can you describe for us a little bit about the just overall amount of people coming to Las Vegas for something like that?
Well, Mike Tyson was a big name. Obviously, I'm sure most of you all know him. He was making like $30 million a fight. He was winning his fights within a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and I think that particular night he did also. He won one of his fights, got paid big, and they were ready to party.
Now, and just to be fair, your role was not to deal with Mike Tyson.
No, the Sugar Night event, yeah.
So you were, and just explain a little bit for the jury, what were your role that night? What were you supposed to be doing?
Basically, just keep the peace, make sure there was no fights, no shootings, nobody get killed, type thing.
Okay.
That was basically our.
And when you say you were there to make sure to keep the peace, where exactly were you?
At Suge Knight's residence, there were several of us hired to do this assignment.
I'm now going to show you what's been marked and admitted.
Yeah, well, admitted by stipulation, Judge.
Okay.
By stipulation, defense BDB, defense AAA, defense YY. May I approach them?
Okay. Those may be admitted.
Just take a look at these and tell me if you recognize them.
Yes, that's the area that we were assigned. Right.
You have
At the, okay.
And then just fix them as well.
Oh. It's the same one. That's an extended view of it, yeah.
May I approach you? Showing you what's been marked as defense exhibit YY. This, can you explain to the jury what this image is here?
This is a neighborhood involved. The green area, the park area up above would be.
So what you can do, sir, because we don't have a way for you to
Okay.
do that. First and foremost, is this an overall view of the Las Vegas Strip? Looks like the airport and theater kids.
Yes.
Okay. You could actually step down off the
Okay.
chair if you want and just point to the area that we're talking about. But before you do that, I'm going to show you what's been marked and admitted already as defense exhibit AAA. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And can you explain to the jury what this photograph is?
That's the area of the. I think it's Sierra Rancho Estates, where Suge Knight lived.
So up over here, just for the jury's edification, what would this be? Okay. Are you sure that's not the airport?
I don't see any runways, but I'm gonna have to take your word on that one.
That's fine.
Okay.
Down over here, do you recognize what this is here?
It's a golf area. Uh-oh.
You can get a little closer if you want to that screen if it helps you with your vision.
You know, this is 20 years ago.
I know.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's almost 30 actually.
Yeah, basically it's just Sunset Park, the whole. That's all.
All right. If you could just help us out real quick and just point to the general area in which you were assigned that particular night.
I believe it was. I can't with any certainty. I'm sorry.
So what we're looking at
I
here.
know it was adjacent to the park. I just don't. I'm not getting the. It's been too.
You can probably just sit down for that. Don't worry about that.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. It's been 30 years. Now, let me ask you this, though. Fair enough to say, as a police officer, if you are called to testify that 30 years after an event occurs, what would be the material you would use to help refresh your
My officer's report at the time.
Right. And with regard to these officer reports, for instance, critical piece of your toolset as a police officer?
Very critical.
So, like in this case there, you don't remember 30 years later certain things. Yes?
Right. I've really never patrolled that area. That was just an assignment for that one night for me. I've always been in the Northwest, so
No
I
worries.
wish I could have identified Suge Knight's residence better.
Now, in this particular regard, I'm going to turn your attention to the Suge Knight residence. Can you tell us what you actually did at the residence?
I was with another officer, and we were at a gate, and we basically stayed at the gate while entourage of vehicles came through. Approximately 15 vehicles came through, and the last one being Suge Knight's.
Okay, now with regard to the entourage of vehicles, where did they go?
In through the gate. I never went in through the gate, so I didn't see where they went after they entered the gate.
Okay. And with regard to the vehicles that went in, did you recognize or give note of any of the vehicles that were in there?
The last one was Suge Knight's. It was a cream-colored Cadillac.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. The last one that you had was a cream-colored Cadillac?
Yes.
And why do you remember that vehicle?
Just pointed out to me at the time. It was occupied by two black males.
Okay.
And I didn't know Suge Knight at the time. I was kind of, interested in, looking for Tyson at the time, and they just pointed that vehicle out to me as Suge Knight's.
Yeah. And fair to say, though, that sometime in the future you were asked to obviously write a report on that particular issue.
Yes.
That was your officer's report.
Yes.
And in that officer's report, did you include the mention of a cream-colored Cadillac with two black male adults?
I did.
Now, after your view of the Cadillacs going into the residence, how long after that did the shooting of Tupac occur?
Probably half an hour later that they came out, and it was probably 10 minutes later Mike Tyson actually entered. It's probably another 10 minutes after he came out again, and it was probably 10 minutes after that the shooting took place.
Okay, and just for the jury's edification, when you say Mike Tyson entered, meaning he came into the residence?
He came in, but not with the entourage of the first 15. First 15 vehicles went into the gate. They all came out again. Mike Tyson went in the gate. He came out, and then we left. And at that point, maybe it was approximately 10 o'clock, I think, the shooting took place.
Okay. Sir, I have no further questions. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hang on. Hang on just a second. They might be cross. Mr. Giacomo, do you have any cross?
Officer Height.
Yes.
If you could explain to ladies and gentlemen of the jury, when officers at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department want to work overtime, they can sign up for special events, and then the police department assigns you where to go for that particular event.
Yes.
And usually that works by a business or a lawyer or something setting up with the sheriff or one of the sheriff's employees a special request for, hey, I want officers for this particular event.
We have a special event. We had a special events section of the police department that businesses that would promote events would contact, and they would ask how many. They would ask how many officers they need, and officers would be called, and then we would show up to assign locations.
And so on this particular night, it was Metro that assigned you to this location in order to keep the peace for whatever reason.
Yes.
You indicated that you were mainly at the guard gate.
Yes.
And you saw a sequencing of events that occurred at the guard gate.
Yes.
At some point after the homicide, did somebody direct you to write your report?
Yes.
And during the course of that, first of all, who directed you?
I believe it was my lieutenant at the time.
Your lieutenant said, hey, we should document this.
Yes.
And one of the things you documented was not only that you were there, but that the guard gate security detail was called Allied Security, and that they maintained a log of the vehicles that went in and out.
I believe that's correct.
Thank you very much. Nothing further.
Anything further, Mr. Sam?
Yes, Mr. Hyde, just one final thing. When you're doing this kind of work, it's for additional hours, right?
Yes.
What were you wearing on that particular night?
Uniform.
And is that always the case?
Yes.
So even if you're, like, say, not at Suge Knight's residence, but say at some other club area in the parking lot, you'd still be wearing your
Yes.
uniform? Okay. No further questions.
There are different bureaus that can get assigned different things. I was uniformed, so I was always uniform. There may be detectives or others that would respond differently, but my assignments were I was uniformed, so I was always in uniform.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
1 second.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? We have some.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's very much that he said regarding.
At all. I don't
Yeah,
even see they brought him to the stand.
Well, I think basically this is to see whether or not they can establish a location. The
Couple questions from our
location
jurors.
him.
Did you notice any damage or
convicted.
bullet holes on any of the cars that came through the gates at Suge Knight's residence, especially the white Cadillac?
No, there was no damage somewhere.
No damage. Were any of the crew members carrying guns?
I didn't see any guns on any of the entourage people, though, because they were all in their cars. We all had guns.
Okay,
Uniform.
got it. Did you see the cream-colored Cadillac leave?
Yes. They all left.
Okay, when was that?
Close to 10 o'clock, I would say.
Okay,
Maybe 9:30-ish.
got it. Mr. Stamp, any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Okay, thank you. Now you're free to go,
Okay.
Mr. Hyde. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
So who was the green Cadillac here? The white Cadillac again?
Mr. Stamp, your next witness.
I thought you said cream Cadillac.
Your Honor, we'd
I
like
thought
to
you said
call,
something about cream Cadillac, not green. But maybe
In the Cadillac, right?
Charles
he
Mangum.
was in a. He said he was in a white
Charles
Cadillac,
Mingo? Okay.
but they're talking about some kind of cream Cadillac. I'm not exactly sure if I heard it right.
You gotta mute your audio when we listen to the video because we can't hear your background.
Mine is muted. I just turned it on. Yours is muted, though.
Don't the prosecution get the question about it now?
I had to turn my mute back on. What did you say?
Don't the prosecution get to question?
Cross exam. Yeah, they did cross exam. They did cross exam. Exactly.
Kind of weird with the jury asking questions. I've never seen that before, but that's a Las Vegas thing.
Yeah, that is a little different. I've heard them ask questions afterwards, but not during the actual.
Right, not during the actual trial.
Right.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this act
They don't have to examine the guy.
shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Charlie Mangrum, CHARLIEMANGRUM.
Thank you, sir. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Stamp, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Mangrum, turn your attention back 30 years from now.
Okay.
On the night of September 7th, 1996, what were your employed doing?
I was assigned as an overtime officer in charge of 3 other police officers to monitor a party that was supposed to happen at Suge Knight's house located on Tamiyasu.
Okay, I'm going to show you here some maps. I just wanted to see if you can help identify where this is located. May I approach?
Yeah, you may.
For the record, showing you what's been marked and admitted. This would be Defense Exhibit CZ.
You don't have that? That one's not admitted yet.
Oh, I have not. Let me just back up there. This is Defense Exhibit YY, Defense Exhibit AAA, and Defense Exhibit BBB. Just take a look at this one. When you're done, just let me know.
Okay.
Do you recognize those aerial photographs?
Yes.
Let me just go ahead and say that they've been admitted already by a stipulation between the parties. I'm going to just put this up on the screen for everyone to see.
Okay.
So with regards to the first photograph here, which would be, I'll take it from here. Thank you, sir. The first aerial view here, this would be Defense Exhibit YY. You recognize this?
I told him it wasn't admitted.
Yes.
Now, just a general idea, though, what is this a image of?
It's an aerial view of the gated community where Suge Knight lives,
Okay.
of Tamiyasu.
All right, and just because of the fact that we're looking at an overall aerial view, it looks like it was last day in Vegas.
Yes.
Can you step down and just point to the jury where on this photograph is the location of Suge Knight's house?
On this,
Yeah, you can just step down. Thank you, sir.
this was a gate, and Suge Knight's house was just about next door to the gate.
Okay, so just for our edification, though, it looks like there is a, would that be an airport that's right there to the left?
Yes, it's Harry Reid Airport.
Okay, and the major cross streets that would be the area which we're talking about here, would that be, what, Sunset and Eastern?
Tamiyasu runs to Sunset, and Eastern is to this direction.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you now what's been marked and admitted as Defense Exhibit AAA. Is this a closer image of the area that we're talking about?
Yes.
All right, can you point to the jury where that area is?
Sunset Park. And this would be this is Suge Knight's area here. That should be Tamiyasu.
Okay. And then just one final image here. I'm showing you what's been admitted to by stipulation, ZZ. Can you describe or tell the jury what we're looking at here?
Mr. Stamp, this
This is
isn't
the-
admitted.
Tamiyasu would
I'm
run
sorry.
up to
Sir, Mr. Maker, we're talking for Brixton.
Yes, I apologize. Mr. Sampson and I stipulated to all of these maps. I think maybe he didn't make the best record about that. So, but all of the maps that he has, we agreed to by stipulation.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's admitted via stipulation. Go ahead.
Thank you. And that's ZZ. Go ahead, sir.
yes, this would be Tamiyasu, and Suge Knight's house would have been just on the north of the main gate that we were working that night.
Okay. And that's all we need for you for that purpose. Now, in terms of what your job was that night, what were you assigned to do?
Apparently, there had been other parties following Mike Tyson fights at Suge's house, and the HOA or association had some issues with the number of people and the number of uninvited guests that showed up, and they wanted to have some police officers there to help keep the peace.
All right, and can you tell us what you were wearing on that particular night?
I was wearing a uniform,
All right.
police uniform.
And when you were there, were you able to notice any of the traffic of vehicles going in and out of the residence area?
Yes.
Can you describe for us any of the vehicles that had either gone in or out of the resident area?
Yes. At approximately about 10:10, 10:15, Suge Knight driving a BMW, blue BMW, with Tupac in the passenger seat, came to the gate, and followed by, I believe, probably 5 or 6 other vehicles in line, which I described in my OR report.
Okay. Now, just to make sure I'm clear with the R report, you don't have to do that right now, but with regards to your R report, is that something that you do as a police officer, is write a report?
Yes.
Now, in this case, obviously, you're just helping with potentially a party that takes place. There's no party that takes place, right?
No.
Were you asked by anyone to write a officer's report after your time working on this particular night?
Yes, I was. I don't recall who that was, though. Yeah.
That's fine. And so the officer's report you wrote, fair to say that that's something that you have done throughout your career as a police officer?
Absolutely.
And what's the reason for an officer's report?
Documentation, so that in the future you have something to go on if need be.
Now, with regards to your recollection for that night, did you, what were the other vehicles that you remember entering into the residence area of Suge Knight and leaving the area of Suge Knight's residence?
Well, Suge and Tupac were there approximately 30 minutes, and they exited back out, followed by a cream-colored Cadillac, compact vehicle that was occupied by 4 females, and a few other vehicles that I had referred to my officer's report on. But later on, following the time that Tupac and Suge left, Mike Tyson showed up as a passenger in a Bentley, followed by another Bentley that I believe was Don King's son. And we informed them that Suge Knight had told us that the party was no longer going to happen.
I see.
And then they turned around and left.
I see. And then your report was written, how long after the event that occurred that you're telling us did you write your report?
It's dated the 19th of that month.
All right. Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
The 19th of what month?
Mr. DiGiacomo, you may cross.
Lieutenant, you wrote this report at the direction of homicide?
I'm not sure. It might have been the PIO's office or someone investigating the case.
On the second page of your report, it shows this was copied to Detective Brent Becker, P number 2838/homicide. So this would have been something that you would have sent to homicide to let them know this information?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in looking at your report, you indicate that, would you agree with me, that at 21:30 hours, it's you and Officer Quick that are actually at the residence of Mr. Knight talking to somebody there, and Mr. Knight's not home?
No.
Then you say at 2200 hours, Officers Schmidt and Height were at the guard gate?
Yes.
When the cars came in?
When they started to come in, yes.
And then at 22:15 hours or 20 hours is when you arrive at the gate?
Yes. Approximately, yes.
And at 22:30 hours is where Suge Knight, driving a black BMW with Tupac Shakur in the driver's seat, followed by the rest of the caravan, leave the residence?
Yes.
Now, what you received today, I believe you have there, is a 2-page report, and mine's a lot, has a bunch of attachments to it, so I just want to show you.
No.
So that appears to be your two-page report.
That's the officer's report.
There you go, look at the front. Is that your officer's report?
Yes.
Okay. And then behind it has basically all the various special assignments going on that night in the valley. You need your glasses to look at that.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this.
All right.
Okay.
And that's just Metro kept record of all the various special events that evening and who was assigned where in case we need to look into that later.
Correct, yeah.
And then after that, there appears to be the gate log with the plate numbers of all the vehicles that were going in and out of that particular gate.
Okay.
Does that look accurate?
I haven't seen it. I've never seen it.
By looking at that, does this suggest to you that Metro Homicide in 1996 followed this lead and followed up on it?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, as to leading.
It's a cross-examination.
Oh, yeah, you're on cross.
I'm on cross.
Sorry, this is weird. Yeah.
Overruled.
Thank you. I have nothing. Oh, and when that white Cadillac left that guard gate, it was occupied by two black males as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mr. Sant, anything further on your redraft?
Yes, Your Honor, just with regard to the last question that was asked by Mr. Giacomo, sir, he says that it was a white Cadillac. It was either white or cream, as far as you know. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's what you wrote in your report.
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, anything further, Mr. Giacomo?
No.
On cross. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for this witness? We may have one.
I don't even know what they're trying to do here.
You said you don't know what they're trying to do.
I don't know what they're trying to establish. Is this the timeline of when they left LA to go to Vegas, or what is this?
Well, we know that when he at this 10, he said 22:30, which means 10:30 at night. When he said 22:30 hours, he was saying it was at
A question from one of our
10:30
jurors.
when
Could you say what model of Yeti?
On what day?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Anything
the day
further,
of the
Mr.
fight.
Sant?
No, Your Honor.
He came to a party. He didn't want to be a party.
Okay, thank you, sir. You are free to go.
Thank you.
Yeah,
He told,
but
he
that
told,
seems to be late to leave LA to go to Vegas for a fight when they didn't. They made it to the fight, then they went to the casino. What time did Tupac even get shot?
no, he was talking about Suge Knight. This is them at Suge Knight's residence. The map was about Suge Knight.
This is what I don't understand. What day? I'm thinking we're talking about the day of the shooting.
Well,
The day of the
Tupac Shakur is still alive, so it couldn't have been. It had to be before the shooting because they're talking about Suge Knight and Tupac.
right. But what day? Is it the day of the shooting when they left LA to go to Vegas? That's what I'm confused on.
It apparently is the day of the fight, right after the fight.
I do.
They were in Vegas
And they were
right after the fight. Doesn't Tupac got into the fight with Lorena?
And spell your first and last name for the record.
They were on their way to
Long,
the
D-A-N-L-O-N-G.
club, whatever. He said something about
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Sant.
but
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tupac
Mr.
Shakur
Long,
still lived.
taking your attention back 30 years to September of 1996. How were you employed?
Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
And at the time, what was your assignment?
I was a detective in gang crimes.
All right. Do you recall the night of September 7th, 1996?
I do.
What were you doing at that particular time?
I was on a gang enforcement team, and we had stopped a bunch of juvenile males about a block, more than a block, to the east and to the south. We had been requested to patrol that area because there had been some incidents and they wanted to know if these were gang members. We had stopped them. We were talking to them. They were not gang members. And then we heard a volley of gunshots.
Okay, and when you say to the east and south, where exactly to the east and south are we talking about?
Sorry, Koval and Flamingo. We are 1 block to the east, and we were on a side street to the south. That area doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. Showing you a map here, an aerial photograph. This is Defense Exhibit YY. Do you recognize this this map or this aerial photograph?
Yes.
Okay, and what is this of?
It's Flamingo and Sand Hill. I'm sorry, Flamingo and Koval is where the shooting occurs. The airport's right to the south. Carriage House is just to the south of where the shooting occurs. And we were, if you zoom in, I could show you where we were.
Here's what we'll do. If you could just step out of your chair, just get out next to the screen. I'm going to get this a little closer for everyone to see so we can figure out where you're at. Does this help?
All right. There's an area here that's been bulldozed. You can see where the streets and the alleys had been right here. There used to be an apartment complex right there. There was 1 alley, 2 streets, and the area command that had that area wanted us to check to see if these were gang members. We went in, we stopped some juvenile males. They were not gang members, they were just juvenile males. While we were standing there talking to these males, we heard about the gunshots. We didn't want to talk to these males anymore, so we jumped in our vehicles and we moved to the shooting scene.
Okay. And what you're pointing at for the jury, just for the record, is the intersection of Koval and Flamingo?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, fair to say, of course, you're there conducting your business as a member of the gang unit.
That's correct.
You weren't there for overflow or anything to do with special events
No.
for the fight?
No.
Okay. Now, for some of us who weren't around during this time period, can you describe for us a little bit about the activity that was going on at the time in terms of the streets and people walking around when you heard the shots being fired?
It was packed. It was extremely, there was people everywhere, people walking, traffic was fully backed up. We had to get into the intersection, we had to use, we were in non-marked cars, so we were in plain cars. We moved into the intersection using red lights and sirens. We moved across, people were waving at us and pointing. There was a vehicle there that became of interest to us. Some girls had been shot at. While we had gotten out to talk to them and find out what was going on, we had no idea this was attached to anything. One of the guys on my team, Dino Kelly, found some cartridge cases in the street. So we started moving our vehicles in the area to block off traffic so they wouldn't get run over and putting up yellow tape.
Now, once again, were you in charge of the investigation of either the shooting or the eventual homicide?
No.
All right. So at the time in 2000 or 1996, you were anything other than your gang unit detective?
Right. And at that time, we had found a shooting scene. We don't know what we have. So we're just securing the scene in case there are victims. And then we would find out what was going on.
Now, at some point in the future, though, as you progress in your career, did you ever, at any point, leave the gang unit?
Yes.
And what did you do after that?
In 2000, I was invited to test to go into homicide. I then tested for homicide and went into homicide.
And what year was that?
2000.
Now, during the time that you were in homicide, that would have been from 2000 to roughly when?
I retired from the department in 2017.
So you spent 17 years in homicide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, during the time period that you were in homicide, were you ever assigned the case involving the Tupac murder?
Yes.
Okay. And you had to stay a little bit. I just want to make sure. You were given the assignment at some point.
Yes, I was. 2004, my sergeant, Kevin Manning, handed me the file and said I would follow up any further leads.
All right. And can you explain to us a little bit about how that works? You're into somebody.
Thanks.
And now you have the file.
Yes.
So what do you do as a detective when you're handed a file that's already been worked on?
You read it. You read it. I went through the pictures. I then discussed it with my sergeant. I went down to California. There was a lot in that file, and I didn't know Compton very well. I didn't know Compton at all. So I went down. I had ridden in the gang unit with gang detectives, and I knew them still. So I called and said, "Can you take me around and show me these things?" So we drove around Compton. They showed me houses where the Compton Crips lived. They showed me where Orlando Anderson died. They showed me a lot of different things. And Compton was very small, but it was very impacted with gangs.
Now, during this time period, can you describe for us a little bit about was there still an interest in the murder of Tupac at the time that you took over the case? Meaning, was there media attention? Maybe not to the level it was in the beginning, but was there still issues with regards to access to the file and that kind of thing?
Yes, there was. Now I know where you're going.
Yeah, and what I mean by that initially is that even in Metro, was there any concerns on your part about unauthorized access to the file?
Not by me. I wasn't concerned, but my lieutenant had become concerned and wanted to sequester the file away from everybody else because there was a lot of people going in and looking. Very, very famous person.
Can you describe to the jury what type of activity we're talking about here in terms of going in and looking?
I didn't do any investigation in this, but my lieutenant told me that people had been going in and being curious, looking at the file.
Did you at any point, was there any measures that was taken to preserve the safety and security?
Yes.
What were those measures?
They locked down the file itself, which was this, the hard copy of the file. We used to, at that time, we were on a computer drive called the F drive, which turned out to be too small, and they later moved it to another drive because homicide just kept growing. So they changed the way I did my reports. I would hand them in, and they were secure.
Okay. Now, we talk a little bit about reports. What reports are we talking about here?
The one that popped into my mind, the very first one, there was supposedly, this was an anonymous tip that there was a rolling 60 apartment over on Reno that was slinging drugs, and that the people that shot Tupac had driven up to this apartment and handed the gun off for drugs. I then attempted to locate, usually gangs are going to rent an apartment, they're going to rent it in a girl's name. So I was looking, and I'm talking 8 years after the fact. I'm talking about trying to find an apartment rented by a girl that has association with the Rolling 60s. I never found it. So I couldn't track down the 60s that may have the gun that would be attached to the killing of Tupac.
I see. And during the time that you were performing your duties as the detective on this particular file, did you ever keep your own officer's reports?
Yes.
And just explain for us a little bit about your, common course of how you would do that.
An officer's report is like who, what, when, where, why. So you say that there was an anonymous tip. Let's just talk about this tip. Anonymous tip at this date. I did these phone calls, met with this apartment complex, and couldn't locate anybody that was attached to the Rolling 60s in any fashion. So it literally would be an officer's report that's maybe a paragraph. There was another tip that the gun had been dropped from the shooting vehicle that went back to California that night, and it was on the side of the road. Ridiculous. But 8 years later, we went out and we walked that section of the freeway, both sides, looking for a gun. We didn't find one. That officer's report was about a sentence. And those kind of things, those kind of things are the things that we were trying to run down.
All right, and so in terms of officer reports, fair to say that there would be a lot of officer reports of your efforts in this particular investigation?
Those officers' reports don't exist anymore that I could find.
Okay, and why is that?
From what I was told was when we moved from the F drive to the H drive, those reports had to be scanned, and at some process they were lost.
So what we're relying on, clearly, it would be your recollection of what you remember from that time period.
Correct.
Okay. And once again, if you don't remember, you don't remember.
Okay.
Okay. Now, at some point, though, you have an opportunity to interact with law enforcement officers in Compton. Or is it, no, I'm sorry, at that particular point it would have been the Sheriff's Department, LA Sheriff's.
Yes, I usually went directly to LAPD, but yes, the Sheriff's Office also.
LAPD. Can you tell us a little bit about any interaction you might have had with them, specifically about a firearm?
You're talking about the 06?
Yes.
Yeah. I received a phone call from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department saying that there was a gun recovered by Compton PD in 1998. The yard of 1301 Sloan, which is inside the Compton area. The Compton Crips area, I should say. And they believe that this gun was supposedly buried in the back, and it was turned over to the Compton Police Department. The Compton Police Department dissolved, and so the Sheriff's Department was starting to run all these guns through ATF and ballistics, and they believe this may be the gun that we were looking for. They were fairly adamant that this was the gun that we were looking for, that was the murder weapon of Tupac. I then made a drive to LA with my sergeant. We picked up the gun. They had it in a evidence box. I signed a receipt to them that they kept. I then drove the gun back to Las Vegas, drove it directly to our ballistics lab, and I turned the gun over to Jim Krylo. I then filled out a request to have that ballistics tested against the gun that was used to kill Tupac. Before I managed to drive back to the office, I received a phone call and they told me it was not the gun. I told him that he wanted me to come back and impound it and put it into our evidence vault. I told him I'd come back in the morning and I would pick up the gun and I would take it back to LA because it may be of interest to LA in another crime.
Okay. And outside of that particular incident, were there any other instances where you found what potentially could be the gun in this situation and had it tested?
Myself, no, but there were thousands of guns that were tested.
And as far as you know, as the responsible detective at that time, were any of those thousands of guns come back with a hit or match to the spent cartridge casings that we found in the scene?
No.
Now, in addition to that, at some point in the future, you travel to California again to conduct an interview.
Yes, sir.
That would have been in 2009.
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about who was there in that interview?
Sure. Myself and my lieutenant, Lou Roberts, made a drive after I received a phone call saying that there's somebody that wanted to give information about Tupac and Tupac's murder. We then drove down on the morning of September 9th. They wanted us to meet them at the HIDA office, which is at 1340 West 6th Street in LA, which is about 6 blocks from Plaza One. We met them there. I would then met Detective Darren Dupree, and he told me that Duane Davis, also known as Keefe, was in the interview room. He had his attorney present, whose name was Wayne Higgins, and we were going to go in and he was going to give me information. And he further explained that Keefe had got caught with a large amount of narcotics and was trying to work off those charges.
Now, sir, and just to cut you off at that part, I apologize. But with regards to that information, at some point you conduct an interview in that room.
Yes, sir.
With Mr. Davis.
With Mr. Davis, with his attorney. My lieutenant didn't want to go in, so Darren Dupree agreed to go with me.
All right. And there was a recording. Did you record the meeting?
I did.
Okay. And is that just standard operating procedure for what you do as a detective?
Yes, I was told that they were going to record it also, but I wanted to record it myself. That way I have it in my hands.
Okay. And during the course of that meeting, you learned information, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the interaction here? Were you ever asked to leave the room?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us why you were asked to leave the room?
Mr. Davis became very nervous. I was asking questions that he didn't feel comfortable with, which is to be expected. And he asked me to leave the room. He wanted to talk to his attorney, and he wanted to talk to Detective Dupree. I then stepped out of the room for not very long, and then they asked me to come back in.
Was there ever a time that you left the room and was accompanied by Mr. Dupree and only had Mr. Higgins and Mr. Davis in the room by themselves?
I don't recall that.
Okay. So every time you left, Mr. Dupree was in the room with Mr. Higgins and Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir.
Now, at some point, you were able to learn some information.
From Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
When you came back, did you corroborate any of the information?
I tried.
Okay, and what did you do? What efforts did you make?
During the interview, Mr. Davis indicated first that Orlando Anderson, or Baby Lane, had been beat up at the MGM, which we all had video of. I think everybody on the planet has seen this video. He was complaining that his arm was either broken or out of socket. He first told me that they had gone back to California and had gone to the hospital in California. But he said they went to the hospital on Maryland Parkway, and the hospital on Maryland Parkway is Sunrise, and that he had gotten a sling for his arm. So I filled out a subpoena, and I wanted to know if Orlando had signed in, was examined in any fashion. And now we're talking, this is 2009. We're talking about somebody coming into the emergency room in 1996. So I didn't find anything. They couldn't give me anything with Orlando's name on it. We were looking into, there was a rented Cadillac, rented in Compton, by a friend of the gang. Her name was, or her daughter's name, there was a woman by the name of Harris, and first name could have been Teresa, could have been Tessa, and again, we're talking multiple years later. But I called down trying to locate a Cadillac that was rented in 1996. They said it was a friend of the gang, so it's very possible that there was no paperwork on it. But we're going to try. I called multiple rent-a-car places because he couldn't remember which rent-a-car place it was. I never found anything connected to that date or those dates around that for a four-door white Cadillac of any kind.
Now, in addition to that, sir, did you ever run at some point any names to determine sort of help you out with the landscape of who's who and what's what. For instance, did you ever run a name by the name of Darnell Grimm?
Oh, you're talking about before the interview?
Yes.
When I received the call that we were going to go down and do an interview, I ran everybody that was in the file. And the purpose of that being is if I'm in the middle of an interview and he mentions somebody, I might have information, this person's in jail, this person's dead, this person's in prison. Those could be very useful to me in the middle of an interview. When I go into the interview, I'm going to be acting very non-informed. I don't know anything. Please tell me. So he's like, okay, we were going after, we're talking about Pac. Okay, who's Pac? Well, Tupac, Shakur. Okay, so I'm going to do that through the entire interview. But if I have more names and more information, I at least know what he's talking about so I can direct him in the right direction to give me a full name or a full description, whatever it may be. So I ran quite a few people before I went down there.
Okay. So at some point you leave that interview and you come back to Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
Were you ever aware that in 2008, Mr. Davis gave a proffer to the FBI, DEA, Compton PD, LAPD?
While I was there?
Yes.
No. I was told that he had been, Duane Davis was arrested on a major drug case, and he was facing the rest of his life in prison. And he was trying to work that case off. So when I was sitting out there and I learned that he's sitting there with his attorney, I'm like, he's not going to tell me anything. And they're like, well, he's trying to work this off, and it's about Tupac. And I'm like, all right, let's try this. So we went in. But we finished, we made a drive over to Plaza One, then we left. I received some phone calls at that point and received more information when we got back to Vegas that there could be possibly a proffer, which made no sense to me.
Now, just one final question for you, and it's unrelated to anything that we've asked so far.
Sure.
The question is this: are you aware of a program here in town called Barry's Boxing?
I've heard of it.
Okay. I have no further questions, John.
Mr. DeJacque.
Detective, how are you?
Good. How are you, Mark? I'm Mr. DeJacque.
You went to homicide in 2000, correct?
That's correct.
And Mike Franks and Brent Becker, well, I guess Mike probably retired before Brent went up, left the unit, correct?
Well, he trained me for a while. Mike was preparing to retire, so the desk I was going to get was his. And I was trying to soak up as much as I could from him because he was a very, very senior detective. Him and Brent Becker were very, very good detectives, so I was trying to suck up as much as I could. That was the squad I was going to anyway.
And when Sergeant Manning hands you the Tupac file, you already had an understanding from Mike Franks and Brent Becker of who you thought was in the car.
Yes, sir.
And when Mr. Davis in 2009 tells you that, it's the same people.
Yes, sir.
I think Mr. Samft maybe missed one of your trips to Compton prior to, I guess, November of 2004 when he died. In early 2004, did you try and make contact with Big Dre Smith?
Yes.
And describe that for us.
I was with actually a gang squad, and this is during the time when you can read it all. You can read all this information, but it's better if you go down there and look at it. So I went down to look at it. And they were taking me on a tour, most of Compton. They took me to the car wash where Orlando died, that kind of thing. While we were driving by the Emerson Elementary School, which is right in the center of the Compton Creek turf. Some of the guys I was riding in the back seat and taking notes. they said, there goes Big Dre, DeAndre Smith, which is somebody that's obviously in Brent Becker's files, and he was walking through the field, the grass field. So I was like, well, stop, let me talk to him. You gotta try. You know, I have no probable cause. I have no legal right to make a stop. I'm not even in my jurisdiction, but I can try. So I stepped out of the car and I said, Mr. Smith, I'm Detective Long from Las Vegas. And he said, F you and F off. He's not censoring what he said. And he just lumbers across the field. So I had no reason to stop him. So I just waited.
Now, in 2009, you wind up in a room with Mr. Davis, and your belief is he's trying to work off charges. What
Yes, sir.
does that mean?
Right. What does that mean?
He's looking, literally, he's looking at the rest of his life in prison for what they had caught him with. So if he gives substantial information about cases, and that's what they had brought him in for, was to give information about cases. One of the cases was the Wallace case, Notorious B.I.G. During this part of it, he started telling them about Tupac, and this is in 2008, I believe. So that's what I was told.
But essentially, and I want to talk about specifically, what is just working off your charges? Does Metro have certain rules, let me ask you, about working off charges and how you work off charges?
Yes, and a non-victim crime, you can work off charges. If you can't work off a murder, you can't work off a sexual assault, you can't work, those are victim crimes. If you have a victim, you can't work off those charges. But if you have something else that, like a lot of drugs, you could work off maybe the amount of years you're going to do by giving substantial case information on other cases. So that's what I believe that Mr. Davis and his attorney were trying to do, was to knock off a certain amount of time off of what he was going to spend in prison.
And you know, or at least you believe, you'd agree with me, that Mr. Davis was a suspect in your homicide, not a witness.
Yes, sir.
And by the end of that interview, what is your intent?
My intent was to drive back to Las Vegas, type up a warrant for an arrest, clear it with the district attorney, and have Mr. Davis arrested for murder.
Now, at that point, did you and members of my team have an opportunity to actually listen to the recording?
Yes, sir.
And we heard the section where you're not in the room, correct?
That's correct.
And then, so did we give you some direction?
Yes. So this is several weeks after I'd come back. I met with, this is several weeks after I had come back from California with the recording. So we brought the recording and the transcription over. The DA reviewed it, and they invited me over, and they told me that they were not going to go forward with prosecution at that time because they're...
Let me ask,
a lot of complications.
Let me ask it this way. Were you directed to find out the circumstances of why it was that a suspect in our homicide was in a room with his lawyer and a task force officer having that conversation?
Yes, sir.
And at this point, you've been told there might be a proffer somewhere out there in 2008.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And proffers are between lawyers and sovereigns, correct?
That's correct.
So it's either got to be the U.S. Attorney's Office, or the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, but it certainly wasn't the state of Nevada or the Clark County District Attorney's Office.
That's correct.
And did you make efforts to find out from Wayne Higgins what the nature of that agreement was between him and some other sovereign?
Yes, Mr. Higgins as well as others. Yes.
And you would agree with me that Mr. Higgins wouldn't return our calls?
That's correct.
Did you attempt to contact U.S. Attorney Seawright?
Yes.
And you would agree with me, Mr. U.S. Attorney Seawright, at least at that time, would not return our calls.
Correct. Would not speak to me.
And by the time, well, let me ask you this. Based upon that situation, did you get directed to reach out to Darren Dupree to see if we could get leverage on the driver, Terrence Brown?
Yes, I did reach out to Detective Dupree, and Clarence Brown is a gangster operating in Compton, California. So he's going to be committing crimes. I asked him if he gets arrested for whatever reason to give me a call, and I want to come down and talk to him. Yeah.
And ultimately, that never happens. You never get a phone call saying, hey, we got Bubble Up in custody. Come down here. Let's interview Bubble Up.
Correct. Bubble Up is the street name for Mr. Brown.
And so by the time you retire in 2017, we have no statement from Bubble Up.
No.
And we still don't know the circumstances surrounding why those three people were in a room talking to you.
No, I believed I did at that time, but obviously I didn't.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Redraft.
Sir, can you tell us who from the district attorney's office you were speaking to during that time period?
Mostly it would be Pam Weckerly.
Who was the other United States or the district attorney as well besides Pam Weckerly?
The entire MVU.
Was Mr. DeGiacomo one of those individuals?
Yes, sir.
Now, at the time, who was the elected district attorney? Was it
Mr. Wilson?
Was it Steve Wilson?
Yes.
Now, not David Roger?
No, I don't believe he was there anymore.
All right. Now, your testimony here is that you had every intention when you came back to charge the case.
Yes, sir.
And when you came back, you reached out to the district attorney's office and you said, hey, we think we should charge this case.
Yes.
And they did not immediately give you a response as to what they were going to do.
No, they told me to stand down and they were going to review it. I got the information to them as quickly as I could. It had to be typed up by one of our secretaries, but I did make sure they got the audio as quick as they could. There was plenty of probable cause to arrest for murder.
Sure. Now, just for the jury's edification, probable cause is not beyond reasonable doubt, fair?
I'd say that again, I'm sorry.
Probable cause is not beyond reasonable doubt, right?
No, that's what we do here.
That's correct. And in terms of the information that you had learned at the time that you met with Mr. Davis, did you verify any of that information?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Did you verify any of the information in that recording in 2009 that Mr. Davis said?
I wasn't able to.
And once again, verification meaning corroboration, right?
That's correct.
In fact, I think on the recording you had told Mr. Davis a couple times, look, even though what you're telling me you might say is the truth, I still need to corroborate this information.
That's correct.
And that would have been your standard operating procedure with anyone telling you anything.
That's correct.
So, for instance, as you're sitting here right now, do you have any...
I'm going to object to leading. It's his witness.
I'm sorry. I'm so used to
hard,
it.
I know.
Let me ask it this way.
You're going to rephrase.
Yes, I'll rephrase. Did you make, was there any information that you ever received about whether or not Mr. Davis was in Las Vegas in September of 1996?
Well, objection leading.
He can say yes or no. Overrule.
Did I?
Yeah.
No.
And was there, did you ever have, when you reviewed the file in this case, were there any people calling in saying that they did it? They did the murder?
Sure.
I mean, can you give us a number or an amount?
There was a lot. There was quite a few. I mean, I had information that Bill Clinton had him killed. I mean, there was a, no, he did not follow up. There was a lot of calls, a lot of people claiming to have been involved. No.
Yeah. And fair to say, though...
Most of the time, they couldn't get any of the information correct.
Right. And so when you're determining, for instance, a confession, what are you looking for? Like, someone says, I confess to this, what information do you use to determine whether it's correct or not?
They're like, what kind of vehicle were you in? How did the shooting occur? What kind of firearm was it? Where did you go from there? What preceded it? How did you? All of it. I mean, anything that you can find as in facts, you want to connect to them. I'm behind the 8 ball because I'm 15 years after the fact, or 14 years after the fact, trying to corroborate different things. But I mean, I made the attempts.
And with regard to the information that we're talking about here, was any of the information you're sharing with us already available to the public?
I don't know. I'm sure there was information that's out there. I mean, there was so much interest in the case, I'm sure there was.
Now, just finally, in terms of your reaching out to people, Mr. Seawright, who was he?
The Attorney General of California.
And the District Attorney's Office requested that you reach out to the Attorney General of California?
They were going to do it. I was going to do it. Whoever could do it would be great.
Okay. And then in terms of the other people, Mr. Dupree or Detective Dupree, when was the first time you ever met Mr. Dupree or Detective Dupree? I apologize.
I'm not positive.
Was it in the meeting at 2009?
No, I met him before that.
Can you give us sort of an estimation as to when that was?
A couple of years before. I think it had to do with one of the gun trip. I think is when I met him.
And just for my edification, with that gun, was it a real gun?
Yeah, Glock 40. There's a lot of Glock 40s out there. I had no idea there was that many.
Yeah. Thank you. I have no further questions. Thank you, sir.
Real briefly. Well, Mr. Sam said, were you able to corroborate information that Mr. Davis gave you? You're talking about information you didn't already know, correct?
Correct.
There was a substantial amount of information in this file that Mr. Davis, Mr. Brown, Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Smith were in the car the night when the murder occurred.
Yes. The way I took when he asked me that is, did I do cooperation? Brent Becker and Mike Franks, the original detectives, cooperated a lot of different things. I didn't specifically go back in time and do what they did.
You were relying upon the information they already had, so when Mr. Davis is telling you this story, it's not like the crazies that are calling saying, I killed Tupac, or Tupac's still alive, or all any of that stuff.
That's correct.
Nothing further.
Any redirect? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions for Detective Long? If you have a few.
We got questions.
But yeah, keep your knees clapping his hands doing this.
I don't know why that did not help his case. That didn't help his case. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it's
The lawyer brought that witness, right? That's the defense's witness, right?
That's the defense's witness, right? Basically, they got to say that they have not one person has said that they've seen him in Las Vegas yet. So I don't know, where they're.
Nobody agreed there, but they didn't have enough information. Just what the information that he had given them, even though he go back and verify it, corroborate it. So when PBD's information is matching up with what they already know that the public don't know. Let's see what the jury got to do.
No one has said anything about him being in Las Vegas yet.
The PPD.
That's why at the beginning of this whole thing, the lawyer said they can't believe what he's saying because he's lying.
Right. But the last question that they just asked, that the police already had information, and when TPD gave his statement, matched up with what they already had.
When your
That
lieutenant said
regular
so many people were
people
going into
did
the
not
Tupac
know.
murder file, what did they mean?
Yeah, good question. Officers were curious, and they would go in and see what was in there because there was a lot of stuff in social media. So they were going in to look and read. So he decided that wasn't going to happen anymore because information could get out. So he locked it down.
Were you the only one assigned to Tupac's case?
In 2004, Sergeant Manning handed me the case to do any follow-up. There was a full squad I was on, 6 detectives and a sergeant. All of them were available to help. And we had some very experienced, very talented detectives on the squad. So I would lean on them. Everybody's curious, why would they hand the case to a rookie? But I had access to some very, very experienced, excellent detectives.
Were you able to interview everyone who occupied the cream or white Cadillac? Or is alleged to?
No. I tried to talk to Big Dre, DeAndre Smith. He died that same year. Orlando died in 1998 in a shootout in a car wash. And Mr. Brown died in, I believe it was 2015.
Did you ever interview Suge Knight about the shooting during the interview process?
I tried. I had a partner that had played football with him and knew him very, very well. And I was complaining that I could never even talk to Suge on the phone. So my partner says, oh, I can make a phone call. We can have it right now. And he made a phone call, talked to Suge, and Suge hung up on him. So it was same old, same old.
Do you know which arm was hurt, right or left arm, for Orlando Anderson?
No, I do not. Sorry.
Were you able to verify and confirm Mr. Davis was actually in the white Cadillac the night of Tupac's murder? Yes, that's the question. Sorry, the handwriting.
I'm sorry, can you read it again?
Yeah. Were you able to verify and confirm Mr. Davis was actually in the white Cadillac the night of Tupac's murder?
By Mr. Davis telling me that he was in a white Cadillac on the night of the murder. And that the shooting came from that same white Cadillac.
Any follow-up based on that, Mr. Saft?
But no actual facts outside of what Mr. Davis told you?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. DiGiacomo?
No.
All right, you are excused. Thanks, Detective Long.
Thank you.
No fireworks this time.
Mr. Saft, any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Do you rest?
We do.
No, they rested.
State any rebuttal witnesses.
They rested.
So, not reopened your case. Okay, so at this time, the presentation of the evidence in this case is
They
we have to do amongst ourselves is settle the law that applies to this case.
Nobody can say he was there except for him saying he was
We're
there.
going to
They
have
say he
everyone
was telling a
back
lie.
on Monday at 9
Nobody
a.m.
can
for
say
closing
he was there
arguments.
in Las Vegas.
Please,
The only person that said he was
during
there
recess,
is
you're
him.
allowed to talk first amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial of any person connected to this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected to the trial until it is submitted to you. Please rise for the jury, everyone.
He walked because that defense was horrible. Horrible. You know what the other, but I think it was recorded at the beginning of the trial. He said he wants his questions to be like a test subject for how to defend a client.
Yeah, he happy. He's quite happy. Nobody can put him in Las Vegas. The only person that said he was there was him. And he's saying nobody can say he was there. Everybody else said he's lying. Nobody.
Did they say
scheduling wise, what remains to be done is jury instructions being settled. what time do we want to do those tomorrow? I was leaving that up to defense because there
There's
were some
no
obligations that they had.
You're breaking up really bad. I don't understand what you're saying.
Does 9 o'clock work better for you?
I'll say it
We'll do
again.
tomorrow at 9 then?
Yes.
And I think we should be done by the time that you need. And Mr. Davis, do you want to be present to settle jury instructions? It's up to you. It's kind of like legal arguments. If you want to be here, we'd be happy to have you. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to. You want to waive your appearance for that? Okay. So I'll then just see the attorneys back 9 a.m. tomorrow. It's not presentation of evidence. It's just settling the jury instructions. Should be pretty quick. And then the next big thing for everyone watching at home is going to be closings 9 a.m. on Monday. Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll see everyone back 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, so this whole case was all about him telling a lie. The very first part of the program, today's program, was about this.
I've never seen a criminal defense attorney get
Was
up
about
in
what?
court and ask the jury not to believe their client. But that is exactly what happened today at opening statements in the Tupac murder trial here in Las Vegas. Now, we knew what the prosecution were going to say. We know their theory. The 63-year-old defendant, Duane Keefe Davis, is the architect of the crime that led to the death of Tupac Shakur. Now, Duane Keefe Davis has entered a not guilty plea, but we didn't know what the defense were going to say. Now, his attorney started by saying, my client has actually spoken to law enforcement numerous times, most notably in lengthy 2008 and 2009 interviews. Do you want to know why he was never charged after those interviews, even though the prosecution claimed that he admitted to being in the car and supplying the weapon to the shooter? Now, I want to get this verbatim. He said, and I quote, they never charged my client because they, quote, knew he was full of crap. In fact, he actually went as far as saying that the prosecution had no evidence that could prove that Duane Keefe Davis was actually in Las Vegas on the 7th of September, 1996. Now, he said, look, I know in his own memoir, 2019 published Compton Street Legend, he said, I was at the MGM, I was sitting second row at the fight, I was wearing my Sunday best, I was next to all the celebrities. But the defense attorney said, there's not a single picture of that. There's not so much as a ticket stub that can corroborate that he was there. At the end of the day, when the BBC asked him, are you telling the jury that your client is a liar? The defense attorney responded saying, and I quote, yep.
He got to beat this case.
Just because you played that BBC, can you hear me on this mic? Just because you played the clip doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, we're going to find out. Yeah, well, you're going to find out that it means a lot. Because if you can't,
can you hear me?
I can hear you now a little bit better.
Good. Go ahead.
Not that well, but I can still hear you. So go ahead.
You can't hear me that
well?
Go
ahead.
Let me.
And you make state your case as the reason why you say this man is going to be found guilty. But nobody can say that they seen the man in Las Vegas yet.
I know that would be nice though if he had an alibi, if they said they seen him somewhere else, if they seen him back in LA, for example, if his girlfriend said, hey, he was with me, if the hospital said, hey, they came here and we checked out Orlando's arm and he had 3 other guys with him. No one, even though he's saying he wasn't in Las Vegas, he's saying that now.
No, he's not saying anything. He had not even made a statement. I told you he was not going to get on the witness stand, and he didn't. He didn't have to. They have to make their case. He don't have to say anything. All he has to do is sit there and they have to make their case, and that didn't happen.
Okay. All right. Well, I disagree.
Of course you do.
I disagree.
Of course you do. Of course you disagree.
Because if you're only going by, they can't prove he was in Las Vegas, then he could prove that he was somewhere else. He could prove that he was back home. Why can't he prove
He
that?
doesn't have to prove anything.
The lawyer hasn't proved where he
He doesn't
was.
have to prove anything. They didn't prove he was there. So what does he have to prove? He don't have to prove nothing. They have to prove that he was there. He have to prove he was in. If they can actually unequivocally say he was in that location, he was in Las Vegas. They have to prove that. He don't have to prove anything. No one had to prove that. Everybody else is dead, and that was in the car. So, they can't prove
They're
anything.
accusing him. They're saying he was there by his own words, his own description of the vehicle that did the shooting, his own probably told them what type of gun, what side of the car. Probably gave a lot of information that just the general public did not have. Just the general public didn't have. And so that in and of itself looks terrible for him. Plus, he said it in the proffer agreement, which is like, you call that a legal document, whether he lied on it or not. That
well, no, he was. When he said he orchestrated a story. He gave it to people who paid him for that orchestration of the story. No one could put him in Las Vegas that day, that night, that time. That's the end of it. They couldn't prove it. And he said, listen, he never got on the witness stand and said he was anywhere because he didn't have to. What they now are going to give to the what they're now going to give to the jury is what the evidence shows. And if that evidence shows, does not say, hey, look, he was there on that in Las Vegas, then they have no case. They can't prove he was even there.
Well, I think the jury's going to have to take into consideration that the case is more than 31 years old. If there was evidence, then it would be hard to find at this time, even proof of a ticket to the boxing match, even footage of him in the audience. Even, there's not cameras around like there is now. There's not, everything ain't digitized like it is now.
Okay, so if they had one person, a live human being, that showed you he was there, he was sitting next to me. They couldn't even get that. They couldn't find a live human living 30
at all. That they could even say that he wasn't there though. There wasn't a live human who said he was here. I seen him in LA that night. What you mean? He wasn't. TPD wasn't there. There's not even a person to say that.
But that's what they were. Irregardless, they had to find a person that said he was. Okay?
It's not irregardless. Why am I going to do regardless?
That's the bottom line. It's not what you think. It's not what you know.
Yeah,
it's what you can prove.
And his lawyer, I don't even understand his attorney bringing those two witnesses to the stand, and I think that's all he brought, unless I missed something.
That's all he needed. He needed the lead detective to go up there and never give a statement that they saw him, that anyone saw him, that he was there. And that's what happened. That's what happened.
Say it again.
He needed the lead detective, whoever the lead detective was on the case, that was living, to come up. And those same detectives were going back and forth to LA, that no one could say, oh yeah, he was there in Las Vegas that night. No one can say that. No one can say unequivocally, yeah, he was there. I was there and he was there with me. No, nobody said that. Nobody put him at the scene. He had to be in the scene for him to have opportunity to commit a crime.
Take into consideration that most of the people are dead. They're going to take that
Okay,
into consideration.
make
That
that,
most of the people are dead. So if there's no one to say that, it shouldn't be dead.
you can make that argument,
They're
but the
going to
facts
take
are
that
the
into
facts. The
consideration.
facts is that they didn't make their case. They didn't put him
Okay.
in Las Vegas the night
I
of
hope
of Shakur of Tupac Shakur's death. They couldn't put him at the scene. Yeah. See, so now they got a problem because he's gonna probably sue for malicious prosecution. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so he's gonna walk from this. That's no doubt about that. You know, he's walking. It's a wrap. I mean, you know, look. The one thing about James, when he got up there, James McDonald got up there saying, you know, he was asking him questions that could put him in jail. He might have been able to say something like, I know people who said he was there, but he couldn't say he was there. Unless he said that he was at the 662.
Yeah.
He wasn't, so he never said that he saw him there, you know. You know, he might be able to say that he knew people who say he saw him there, but that's still.
He didn't say that. I don't think he said that.
He didn't say it all. I'm saying, but he could have said, but he didn't even say that. You know? So I mean, you know, the bottom line is a man, and no one ever put him in Las Vegas that night. That's the limit. Okay, they can say, yeah, he was there. You know.
So thinking as a juror, you think the jury is not going to take his own words into consideration?
Okay, so his own words. Okay, so I know I'm talking to a person that has did, you know, that's what you said yesterday. That you've done some trials, right? That you beat some cases. Okay, so yeah, that's what you said. Yeah. Okay. So you know that you have to establish some foundation. I mean, you just can't go just because you said something. You still have to.
I'm asking you as a juror. You keep bringing up this foundation like you've been watching other cases or these words that
I've fought cases and more. Okay.
So when your cases that you say you didn't lose, but you didn't say
I've
you
never
won.
lost a case. I've never lost a case one time that I represent me.
But you never said you won them either. You didn't say you won the case either.
You won what?
You didn't say you won no cases either. You said you won.
Okay, so let me explain something to you. Let's say, for example, I have a case, right? And they dismiss my case, right? And they can say, okay.
Means you lost. Means you couldn't prove it.
Incorrect. They can dismiss a judge can dismiss your case just because. Doesn't mean it's right.
Means you couldn't prove. Means you couldn't prove the case.
Incorrect. Incorrect. Once again, a judge can dismiss your case, even if. Okay, so now we're talking. In my particular case, we're not talking criminal. We're talking about civil. Okay, because that's the only case.
That means you cannot prove your case.
That's not true.
Period.
That's not true. See, that's not true. See, you know,
that means when they dismiss your case.
Oh, yeah.
They just throw it out. Just decide to just throw it.
You know so much. All you have to do is Google King versus Carver. That's all you got to do.
I'm talking to Ted King right now. You can tell me why they would dismiss your case. On what grounds would they dismiss it?
Prejudice. They're prejudiced. That's what.
Prejudice. You're black and they're white.
Correct. Correct. That's it.
Yeah.
In my case, that's what it
was.
That was all about. But what they didn't think was they didn't think that I was going to go ahead and do what I did, which was.
So you're saying you lost that case.
No,
the judge threw it out because
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. What does the word adjudicated mean?
I don't know.
See, that's my opinion.
You are obviously don't know either. Or else you'd be
Well, that's
explaining it
what
right now.
that's what you saw when you were watching this trial. They were adjudicating the case. They were arguing the case, and that's what adjudication is. That you argue the case. That you have your case. You have your day in court. I never had mine because the man just took my case like that. Boom. I'm like, got the man. Say that again?
You had no case.
Oh, okay. Well, if you say so. Obviously, who am I talking? Why
Well,
am I even talking about this?
when was your case dismissed? May I ask that? When was your case dismissed?
It was dismissed March 30th, 2022.
2022, 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it was dismissed. And you haven't brought it back, and you haven't seen another judge who wasn't prejudiced. You still have not proved your case enough to get it back in front of another judge.
It is in front of another judge, okay, but I'm not here to talk about that. But it is in front of another judge. Well, I made a comment because you seem to act like you know a lot of stuff that you don't know about. That's why I got you on the show, because I need that. I need somebody like you. I need somebody to argue. They may not know what they're talking about, but they're going to argue. I need you on the show, okay? For that reason, I need conflict, and you're the perfect person.
You do need me. You do need me to get your paperwork right, to get you in front of a judge, and to argue your case for you.
You can't argue my case. You gotta be a trained attorney. You can't argue my case for me because you're not a trained attorney.
You said you defended yourself. You're not a trained attorney.
I can defend myself though. See, that just shows you how much. That shows you how you know me out. Like, that's why you're on the show. Because I need somebody like you. I need somebody to argue just to argue. I need that. Don't know what they're talking about. We're gonna keep arguing. I like that.
You need somebody who knows something and not just making up stuff and not just repeating what they heard lawyers who don't know nothing say. That's what you need.
Okay, well, whatever you say. Okay. But listen. Just like my brother, I need you just like I need him. Okay. Yeah, right.
No, y'all need each other. You and your brother, y'all on the same path of what they call nowadays.
I don't know.
Delulu.
If you say so. If you say so. Like I always say, you don't argue with people that don't know what they're talking about. All the thing you do is just say, okay. Because you can't win. You can't win. Argue with people they don't know that. They don't really. Yeah. So I mean, but the case isn't that it went to the jury. That's what it did. It went to the jury. But
okay.
When it
I thought it was like,
say again?
You talking about your case now or TPD?
I'm talking about this case that we're talking about now. This I guess it's State versus Davis.
Okay.
That's his name, right? Davis?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So and so that case right there is going to come back with a jury. It got to get 12 people to say he's guilty. They can't find one person on that panel that says, yeah, we know he was here in Las Vegas tonight. Tupac Shakur was killed.
That don't mean that the jury's not going to take what's already been taken into consideration for their decision. And let's see if it's 12, because Vegas is a little bit different. In this case, is completely different. So I'm gonna see if he's I'm gonna Google it and see if it's a jury, a regular sized jury.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me just tell you how many jurors are in.
It's gonna be 12 and 2 alternates. 12 juries and 2 alternates.
Huh?
12
are in
12 juries and 2 alternates.
Yeah, there's usually 12 and then 2 alternates. Yeah, usually. But let's see. Okay, so he's got 12 and 4 alternates.
4 alternates? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
There you go. 4 alternates. That's fine. Yeah. What we can look forward to is the man saying adios, see you later, bye bye, Las Vegas. I'll beat your case. And then get him for malicious prosecution. So for malicious prosecution. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably what he's gonna end up doing. Because he definitely ain't going to jail. Or he in jail, but he won't be getting released from jail. That's for sure.
You positive on
Oh
that?
yeah. I'm like, yeah, they can't put him on the scene. Nobody can say he was there. Nobody can say he said he was at his mouthpiece. His attorney said he was lying about that. And nobody can put him. Nobody can put him. Huh?
That's defense. Everybody knows he's gonna come with some sort of defense. So you don't think that the jurors are going to take that into consideration that he's just saying he was going now to get
What does
off?
beyond a reasonable doubt mean to you, Nicole? What does beyond a reasonable doubt mean to you, Nicole?
What does it mean to you?
Okay. Well, what it means, period. What it means, period. It means that there is no doubt that no one can put him in Las Vegas the night of the Tupac Shakur killing. There's nobody who can put him in. That's beyond.
I'm asking you what I asked you before. You don't think that the jury is going to take into consideration him putting himself there?
Well, here's what must happen. That must be presented as evidence. Okay.
It was.
No. No. They played a tape. They allowed them to play a tape. Okay. Yeah. Of the situation that was going on. They allowed that, right? It was enough. There was enough foundation for them to get on, to get it, because he didn't hear him talking. There was enough foundation for them to get it played, right? Because they had to get the producers that was there when it was being made to get on the witness stand and say, yeah, I was the ones who produced it when he was talking about it. But for it to be unequivocal in terms of evidence, he would have to get up there and say, I was there, but nobody knew I was there. And he didn't do that.
I would agree with you if he had only went on Vlad TV and said these things. If he had only went on Art of Dialogue and said these things, or Cam Capone and just said it for the internet, I would agree with you. If he had just did and selling his book, I would agree with you if he had only did those things. But what they also gave in this case is recordings from what he gave to the U.S. attorney in 2008, putting himself at the scene of the crime, right in smack dab in the middle of the case. The jurors, okay, are going to heavily consider that because that's official now. He didn't just say that to the guy next door trying to be tough. He didn't just say that online trying to make himself.
That's not how the law works. That's not how the law works. You're supposed to be a.
What do you mean?
You're supposed to be like an attorney. You should know this.
Should know what?
That because he said something doesn't mean that it's true. Because he said something actually under the rules of court does not mean it is true. There are certain rules of court and these rules say you have to present your case a certain kind of way, a certain kind of thing that
Okay. Do you understand the proper agreement that he did in 2008?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I thought. You didn't know what you was
No,
talking
you don't know
about.
what you're talking about, because if they had a statement that he signed and said under declaration of signed declaration under perjury, then they could have used that. They didn't have that because it was brought in the court.
They do have that. That's the proper agreement. It wasn't just a signed agreement. It was also a recorded
because you go keep fighting your argument till the sun goes out.
No. Do you understand the proper agreement? Let's just start there. Do you understand and know the proper agreement that he did in 2008 with the U.S. attorney? Do you realize that or know what that is?
You can explain it to me, because obviously, you think you know what it is, but you should go ahead and tell me.
Well, no, I don't know what it is. I'm asking you. Do you know the proper agreement? They mentioned it many times in this case. Okay, proper agreement, proper agreement, proper agreement. Do you know what that is and who it was with?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, that's the question. That's my answer. I don't know.
Are you serious, or are you just trying to be smart, trying to be sarcastic? You don't know what I'm talking
not being
about?
sarcastic at all. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. You said something.
Do you remember hearing them say proper agreement in this case and all the footage that we watched this week? Do you remember hearing
No, I
that?
don't.
Are you serious
I'm
right now?
serious. You call it a what? Can you spell it?
P-R-O-F-E-R. That's I don't know if that's
proper, like P-R-O-P-E-R, like proper.
I don't know how to spell it, but it's proper agreement. You didn't hear them mention that in this case? And you got on headphones? Are you serious? Are you serious though? Is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Like one of the witnesses that we just watched, when he said he left the room for a little while, Keefe asked him to leave the room so he could talk to his lawyer. And there was the lawyer, Keefe and another guy in the room. The officer had to leave for a little while. He said just a little while, and then he came back. You don't remember that?
No.
So the proper agreement. So when they were saying he's given information to get himself off of the drug case, the big drug case. You heard that, right?
I heard something about drugs, but I'm not sure if it's working something off. He had something going on that he worked it off through some kind of situation with some drugs. Can't do it for murder. Can't do it for sexual assault. You can't do it for
So he gave information on himself, right? And it was signed and agreed to, and they gave him immunity for that information. In that instance, whatever you tell us right now, it has to be truthful, but we cannot use it against you. We cannot go after you for this. That's part of the reason why he hasn't been arrested in all this time, because of that agreement that he signed and dictated on a recording of what happened and what he did and what his nephew did that night.
Okay.
He agreed.
If that's the case, then they had a big hurdle to climb in order to get that introduced into the trial. Okay, because they can't just bring anything up. They have to be able to get it into the trial. They weren't able to get it in there, so that didn't happen. So since they didn't get it in there, whatever you're talking about,
I don't think you were paying attention. It was in the trial. They were able to use excerpts from the tapes that he had gave the U.S. attorney.
Obviously, this is what I mean. You think everything that you say is how it works.
It sounds like you haven't even been paying attention to the words that were said
You
on
have
the
not been
statement.
paying attention because I know exactly what's going on and you don't. Okay, because you have to get things into evidence. You just can't all of a sudden say, "Look, this is coming in."
I'm telling you, it was in the trial.
Okay,
Me and you watched
if that's the case, then you should be right when you say you're gonna beat the case, right? You're gonna beat the case, right? That's what you're saying, right? Huh?
You saying, am I gonna beat the case? I'm not on time.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. That you keep breaking up.
What did you say? Am I gonna beat the case?
I said, since you are so sure that you know what you're talking about and you're advocating for his conviction, that means he will not beat the case. He should not beat the case based on what you're saying.
I'm just going by what I've seen in this case and what I heard. I'm not advocating for nothing. I'm asking you questions because I think you missed something.
I didn't miss anything. As a matter of fact, he's going to beat the case. Okay?
You didn't even heard of the proper agreement.
Beat the case, okay? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. He is going to beat the case. That's what I'm telling you right now. He is going to beat the case. He's going to go, unless he got some other pending cases, he's going home. That's what he's going to do. He's going to beat this case. Yeah, he's going to be able to get up there and write some more books. I beat the Tupac Shakur. The Tupac Shakur case. They're gonna be able to videos and all that. I beat. Yeah, he's gonna be a YouTube phenomenon after this. That's what's gonna happen. And he's gonna beat the case. Okay, he's gonna beat the case. No problem. It's a wrap. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. He might even be. You might get him on the part. Maybe that's what you should do. You can say, I thought you was gonna lose. I was talking. He come on, no problem. Because
he would probably love to come on your show.
He is more than welcome to. He is more than welcome to come on the show. No problem. He come on this show when he gets out. If he wants to come on, man. Let's talk about this. Listen, certain things have to happen for you to be able to get evidence in. Okay? If they could have got the evidence in that you're talking about, which I don't know what you're talking about, they would have done it.
How do you not know what I'm talking about? That's part of the problem why you're not making sense. That you don't even know what I'm referring to, and it was in the case, and it's been mentioned several times throughout this case, and you act like you've never even heard of it. And if you've never even heard of it, that looks better on you. How could you not?
You know what I find incredibly amazing about this that you're talking about is that you don't know what you're talking about. That's what you said. You ain't even tell me what you're talking about. You don't even know you said it's having agreement. I said, well, what kind of agreement is that? You can't even tell me what kind of agreement it is. That's what makes it so.
I just told you. You don't want to hear it because you obviously ignored it every time it was said during this case. So I can't explain something you don't want to hear.
I'm not going to say that I ignored something that's substantial that I heard. I didn't hear anything substantial because I could never hear anybody saying that he was there in Las Vegas the night of the Tupac Shakur murder. I never heard anybody say that. I never heard the prosecuting attorney say he was cited here, he was cited over there. He was walking out of, there he is in the casino right next to his nephew when he got assaulted. Nobody can say he was there. I'm like, well, when is they gonna say he was there? They never, ever, ever, ever said it. Right? They could never put him at the scene of the crime. I mean, he's out there and on the boulevard, a whole bunch of people seeing this the shooting, and nobody can say that was him in the car. Nobody can say it. So I don't understand how you can have a case if you can't put a person. I mean, he didn't get killed. Come on, Tupac Shakur in a seclusion. He got shot in front of out there in the streets. You know, he's supposed to be, in there. The man just took a picture of him seconds before he got shot. He never saw the people. So, I mean, if you really asking me what I think it was an inside job. That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it was, probably something going on between, because he was making a lot of music at the time. He was making a lot of music at the time. They said all he was doing was working. He was doing, I mean, when he got killed, all this Shakur, all this Tupac Shakur music was coming out. So I mean, it was time, you got to look at, it is for what it is, man. And these people.
Inside job meaning who?
Pardon me?
When you say inside job, who would be inside?
Well, that would be. Well, let's ask Shakur. How does that sound? Let's ask Tupac. I keep calling him Shakur, but his name is Tupac. Let's ask Tupac when he ask him that question. I mean, I'm not sure if he's gonna answer it, but we could try. Let's see if he can give us a little bit of understanding of what he's talking about. Let's listen to
Trust
Tupac.
nobody after dog. You know what I mean? Straight up. My closest friends did me in. My closest friends, my homies, people who I done took care of their whole family. I done took care of everything for them, looked out for them, put them in the game, everything turned on me. Fear is stronger than love. Remember that. Fear is stronger than love. All the love I gave didn't mean nothing when it came to fear. So it's all good. But I'm a soldier. I always survive. I'll constantly come back. You know what I mean? Only thing that can kill me is death. That's the only thing that'll ever stop me is death. And even then, my music will live forever.
All right. So that's what he had to say. I mean, that's what he had to say about it. That somebody, people crossing back. We did. Listen. What we do know is that the two big boys is in jail right now. The big guys. Both of them are in jail, and they don't have anything. They don't have. They're just like everybody else. They're broke. They certainly not gonna just come out and start making a whole bunch of money. So, I mean, they might have royalties coming in with public anyway, because he's an artist. If you got some type of royalties coming up for people still buying it. But sure, he can't. He's too old. He's gonna be too old to be like, okay, James McDonald.
So you saying inside job like should set it up is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, it could have been, because Suge Knight kept saying that when Suge Knight came to talk to the police, he brought his attorney with him. Well, why would he need an attorney if he's a victim? If he's a victim, why would he need to bring attorneys with him? That's what they said. And did you catch that part? When they said they had Suge Knight come talk to him, he brought his attorney with him. They said that was unusual, especially when he is a victim. Why would you need? I'm not going to bring no attorneys. I'm a victim. I don't need to bring no attorneys with me. For what? I'm a victim. But he brought attorneys with him.
So you're kind of saying you're agreeing with what I said yesterday, or the day before, that his own people had him killed, that they were all a part of it.
Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
I did.
Okay, well, if you saying that's what you said, then I would agree. Okay. I don't recall you saying it, but now that you saying it to me, yes, I agree.
You only got to watch like the first 10 minutes of our first video that we did on this. I said they were all all complicit, negligent. I think I said it at the beginning and at the end of our video, but that includes Keefe D. That includes Keefe D. Suge knows Keefe D well.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say, or yeah, based on what you're saying now, you're saying that yeah, you did say something implicating that I thought it was James, because he was the security people was the one who is at fault. And I said to you, I said, well, how many the man would lead the charge toward that young man to jump on him? And you didn't mention anything about Suge Knight being involved, but you did say something about the security people were involved. And I made that comment. I said, well, hey, look, I don't know about these security people, especially when the man decides to run through the casino and jump on the guy. You know, he doesn't seem like he wants any security at that particular point. That's what I remember talking about that. But now you're saying Suge Knight. Okay, well, if you're saying that now, I'm agree with you. I think that you have something or no.
I started with that. When we started doing these videos, I started
Well,
with that.
You got a feather in your cap.
But Keefe D is a part of that. It's not, I said everybody knew what was going to happen except for Tupac. That's why security wasn't on them like they should have been, especially after that fight.
Well, James McDonald, aka Mob, what's his name? Mob what? But anyway, wherever his name is the guy, and it was in the one of the witnesses said that if he was there, he wouldn't, that wouldn't happen because he would have stopped Tupac running after the guy, you know, because that wasn't what he was supposed to be doing, you know. And, they blew it, they really did, because you know, you're an artist, but at that particular time, you making that kind of, that was the cash shot. How you gonna let the cash out over there? And here's the thing, you got the record executive walking behind you when he went and just that young man. You got the record executive walking behind him in the crowd.
Who is that?
Suge Knight. Suge Knight. Yeah, he was walking.
Suge Knight is the reason everybody in that row is killed. All of them is dead. All of them are broke.
Okay.
Suge Knight was the reason Tupac is taking off on anybody anyway. Tupac should be encouraging that bullshit. The record executive, yeah, so a gangster.
Okay.
He liked that bullshit, and Tupac knew it.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll put it this way. The whole situation leads one to understand that, especially when it comes to people with a lot of melanin, you know what I mean by that? They do not need to be having these type of vibrations of destruction. That's not their calling on this planet. They're not supposed to be doing that. Yeah, they're supposed to be leading the charge with peace, harmony, and the road to the Most High God. That's what they're supposed to do. When they stop doing it, that's what happens. And so, yeah. And so, you know, we can talk about this till we, you know, till the sun don't shine. The bottom line is that it's just not gonna work for people that look like us. They need to figure something else out, you know. And so anybody in the rap game needs to calm down with the gang. How you gonna be a gangster? You gonna be a musician? I mean, you know, not having to worry about something happening. You know, you come to call yourself a gangster. They said that Tupac Shakur was not a gangster. He was not involved in the game. Yeah, you got these people coming out.
Not till he went to death row.
Say that one more time.
Not till he went to death row.
Well, you keep saying that you're the only person that said he was a gangster. Even the people that was in the game said he wasn't in the game. But you keep saying he was in the game. You keep saying it.
I didn't say he was in the game. I'm a it wasn't until he went to death row that he started doing gangster shit.
Well, man, he wasn't in the game. He been doing gangster stuff. He wasn't no gangster. Okay, and so but some people who actually are these days talking about being in the game, talking about being artists. You're artists, gangster artists. I mean, things that happen to people, they need to calm that down. So, well, I'm in the game. We got this guy, Nipsey Hustle. Come on now. Is that enough blueprint to let you know that it's not working? I mean, makes no sense to me. But so you might be right there, though. You might be right. But they didn't come up with the verdict yet. So technically you're not wrong.
What are you going to do?
You said that you think that the man is going to be convicted of the Tupac Shakur murder. Did you not? That's the question.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you ain't got any comment?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I said yes.
Okay, so you think that
and you said he's going to fall.
That's what I say. That's what I know. That's what I know what happened.
Jury says a question that you still didn't answer, but all we can do is wait and see what the jury says because it's on them now.
Okay.
Don't matter what you say, don't matter what you say.
Well, okay. Well, what the bottom line is that's the first thing you say is something that makes sense. No matter what you say, if you don't. That's the first thing you said. That makes sense. Okay? So no, it doesn't matter. What you want to think. Where it's gonna be is gonna be. Right? Whatever it's gonna be is gonna be. That's the bottom line. But I had a man on my show. If you want to come on, let's talk about this. I'm not gonna ask you no questions.
All you gotta do is reach out to him. Huh? That's what you gotta do is reach out to him.
Well, I mean, I probably won't reach out to him. I mean, because I got a lot of things like I should be.
Email him.
Well, for example, I should be taking a break and going and getting right into boxing, right? To talk about the boxing match coming up, but you don't know about boxing.
What did you say?
I said I should be cutting into conversation about boxing or breaking news of some sort. That's what I should be doing, which I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you, if you want to join breaking news, we can talk about it. That's what you want to do.
Is it? You say you're going to be talking about boxing?
I'm talking about breaking news. So it could be some sports, it could be entertainment, it could be a lot of things. I want to get into what was going on with these, it's entertainment stuff.
Yeah, I can for a few minutes for sure. I want to hear what you're talking about.
So we're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back. new thing. In the middle of lunch, and that's right, he hit the wrong button. So I'm back. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be talking about the breaking news. And part of the breaking news package is going to be not today, coming back tomorrow. But the breaking news is going to, when he comes back, how mob, she's called mob, how TPD beat the case, in my opinion. And yesterday I was supposed to do a tribute on the late great Dolly Parton. I think I'm going to go to that now as part of the breaking news package and talk about the late great Dolly Parton passing. So let's see. Can't get something going on with that. Okay, Nicole. So yeah, we had nothing. You talked about Dolly Parton passing a couple days ago.
Yep.
I was intending to do a little, sort of like a
Dedication to Dolly?
say it one more time.
A dedication to Dolly?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I like Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know
Dolly
anybody who don't like Dolly Parton. Keep it real. I ain't heard of nothing bad about her. Nobody coming and saying she did them wrong or that who she acts, who she say she is. I ain't heard nobody who don't like her.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna do a little bit of a little tribute on Dolly right now.
Okay.
Because I was intending to do it before. I didn't get a chance to do it, but I'm gonna do it now on Dolly Parton. So let's. This is for you, Dolly. Rest in peace. They say love is about being seen, about standing side by side in the glare of the spotlight, holding hands while the world cheers. But what if the greatest act of love isn't standing next to the light, but standing in the shadows so the other person can shine brighter? For 58 years, we'll ask the same question about Dolly Parton. Where is your husband? They whispered that he was a myth, a fabrication, a secret she is hiding. They couldn't comprehend that a woman as loud, as vibrant, as impossible to ignore as Dolly Parton could be married to a man who refused to be seen. Carl Dean wasn't hiding because he was ashamed. He wasn't hiding because he didn't love her. He was hiding because he loved her enough to let her be everything she needed to be. Think about the moment they met. It wasn't a red carpet. It was a laundromat in Nashville, 1964. He drove by in a white Chevrolet and didn't whistle at her legs or her looks. He just said, "You're going to get sunburned out there, little lady." That was it. A simple, genuine concern from a man who saw the person, not the star. And then the problem. After one disastrous night at an industry gala, where Carl felt suffocated by the cameras and the superficiality, he made a vow. He told Dolly, "I'll support you, but I won't go to those things." He asked her to let him stay invisible. And Dolly, the woman who could have demanded a co-star. The woman who could have forced him into the light said yes. For nearly 6 decades, they lived a paradox. She was the most visible woman in country music. Her face on billboards, her voice on every radio, her name in every mouth. And he was the ghost in the machine. He watched her from his living room. He ran his asphalt business, he went fishing, he lived a quiet, ordinary life, while she lived an extraordinary life. People called it strange. They called it weird, but they didn't understand the physics of their love. If Carl had stepped into that spotlight, he would have had to become something he wasn't. He would have had to trade his freedom for fame, his quiet dignity for public scrutiny. By staying in the shadows, he gave Dolly the one thing fame usually steals: a safe harbor. A place where she wasn't Dolly Parton, the icon, but just Dolly. The woman who came home to a man who loved her for who she was before the sequence ever went on. They didn't have children. They faced the heartbreak of a diagnosis that closed that door forever. But in that shared grief, they found a different kind of family. They found that they were enough. Just the two of them, the Q-tip and her husband. And when the end came in March of 2025, after a long battle with the fog of Alzheimer's, Carl Dean passed away at 82. Even as his mind faded, the transcript tells us his eyes still lit up when Dolly walked in. He might have forgotten the day, or the year, or the world outside, but he never forgot her. Dolly promised him something in those final moments. She promised to see him again, that she would wait for him on the other side. It's a beautiful, heartbreaking truth in a world obsessed with visibility, with being seen, with clout and presence. Carl Dean taught us that sometimes the deepest love is silent. It's the empty chair at the dinner table that still feels full. It's the promise kept in the dark, so the spotlight burned forever. He was the invisible anchor that kept her grounded while she touched the sky. And now, finally, the invisible man can rest, because Dolly Parton always keeps her promises. And she's going to go see him on the other side. All right, tribute to Dolly Parton. You know, I like that guy's voice in the narrator in that sequence. I like it. I like that new voice. Hey, look. Oh boy, hey, look. He about to get real big in the narration business. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, let's talk about breaking news now. Now listen.
We go down to the video first. Is that okay?
What video are you talking about?
The one you just played.
Well, what about you want to talk about the video?
Well, I don't want to move past Dolly yet.
Well, fine. When we talking about the video, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I didn't know she was married, first of all.
Yeah, right. She kept it quiet. She kept it quiet.
Yeah, and I didn't know she didn't have kids.
No. I take that back. She didn't keep it quiet. He didn't want to be in the limelight. So he stayed, he stayed off camera, where he couldn't, he wasn't, out there, but the kid part, I didn't know either. I didn't know she couldn't have kids. No, she had problems with her.
couldn't have kids. I don't think they couldn't have kids. She said they tried to have kids earlier and then they just didn't. You know, so I don't know if it was a diagnosis or nothing. She just,
Well,
I
there
just
was a diagnosis.
Oh,
There was a diagnosis. Yeah, there was a diagnosis that she couldn't have, but she had to have a partial hysterectomy, and that killed her off. So she wasn't able to have no children. No, she can't have no kids. Nah, she can't have no kids. But I love Dolly Parton. You know, I would love to, play some videos, videos of Dolly, but I don't want to have no problem with this copyright infringement unless I say it for educational purposes. I can say that, but without having no worries about having no copyright infringements and this and that and that. I just go ahead and just talk about it. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you can sing, but I know I've seen. Listen, that's what we should do. We should go watch your channel and see how entertaining you are. I see you dance, you sing, you dance. You've been having some hidden talent from the band that nobody knew about. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you got some talent. You got some hidden talent. You sing, you dance, you really do that. Yeah, you got all kinds of stuff going on, miss, that nobody knew about. I'm learning myself. Yeah. So hidden gems, right in front of you. You just never know, right?
I say to myself a lot, hardly anybody knows anything about me. That's kind of why I share some videos now, but I don't want to go through the videos.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to go to the videos. I mean, we can talk about this upcoming. We got some upcoming.
Real quick though, because you said her husband, they was married for 58 years. I had no idea, and her husband just died in 2025.
You're right. He died. He was 82 years old when he died. Passed away. Yeah, he just passed next month. Yeah, that's usually what happens, right? Somebody died, and then after they die, they've been around each other for a long time, and they go ahead and they pass on to, But
that brings me to my point. She probably died of a broken heart, even though she had a battle with cancer. They said a brief battle. I had no idea that her husband just died last year. So a lot of people die from broken hearts, and it's never addressed or put out that way.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Kind of like your parents, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's true. That's true. Like my parents. I said my mother. I should say. Let's look at. She got to think of I got something for regarding her talking about her sister. We'll go to that little. Because I mean, I had a lot of pictures of her family. I haven't put it up there. Let's see if I got those pictures still. Oh yeah, we don't know.
Let's see.
You got good pictures of her family. Yeah, that's Dolly's family. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this tape about her and her sister sharing. So we'll go ahead and we'll watch that.
Here he coming at him.
Oh, that's us.
Willadine's a
We don't need to watch it. Well, we're gonna watch it anyway.
wonderful writer of poetry. She's been writing poems and stories since we were both little bitty things. We're not that far apart in age, and well, not really. Actually, we're five years difference. And 5.5 the other day on Kathy and Regis. I said Willadine was 6 years older than me. Boy, she jumped my ass about that. I said, I always thought she was my mother anyway.
But days and hours count, when you're as old as we are.
Joe, when I was just little, she always thought. She's the oldest, and I have two brothers. And then when I was born, she thought she was my mom.
Mother gave her to me as my baby doll, so I took it really serious.
She had enough to handle with them two boys.
Right, and one day she was washing down at the wash house under the hill, from where the house was, and I was taking care of Dolly, and I was tossing her up in the air, and since I was only 5.5, I was tossing her up, and I dropped her, and she she rolled down the hill, and so I think I helped her get her start in life. She's been on the roll ever since.
She's been on a roll ever since.
Willadine's a wonderful writer.
Yeah,
Here he coming at BMW.
All the chicks was like, Tupac. And he was like, hey, like a celebrity, like he was in the parade. He wouldn't even been out the window. We would have never seen him.
That's actually cool.
My partner busted you.
Look how you look. Look how you looking, Nicole.
When we pulled up, I was in the front seat.
Ah, you funny.
Happened to see my friend, Chuck.
Shug looks over, he sees you.
Now, see, that didn't come in. That, I mean,
He looks right at you.
They played it, but that didn't come in as evidence.
You said the shots came from the back.
Yeah, see,
Big Dre.
yeah, right. They didn't come in. They didn't come in as evidence. I mean, you know, he said, you know, he did that little documentary thing, but that didn't come in. You see, they didn't use that as evidence. They just used that.
The documentary came in, and they played excerpts from the documentary, and in the documentary was the proffer agreement.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, but that didn't come in as okay. They have okay. So let's say they call it. I don't know if you heard this partial foundation. Like, did you hear that term, partial foundation? You know, because you could they use partial foundation. In other words, it wasn't a full foundation where they can use it. So they said partial foundation. That basically says, okay, it's, you know, you made some foundation, you know, you've been made partially foundation, but that doesn't mean that it's, you made your case where you're bringing in as evidence. And that's what a lawyer like you need to understand.
I'm not talking about making the case. You said that didn't come in, and I said it did come in. They brought up that documentary.
They didn't come in as evidence. Okay, it came in. Yeah, they presented it.
It's in the evidence.
It didn't come in as evidence. It's factual evidence. It was, you know, that
no, factual evidence, but there was evidence in that documentary that was also considered.
Okay, there was. Okay, so what was considered? What was considered?
The proffer agreement, number one, his statement.
You don't even know, listen. You keep saying that, but wait a minute. Can you at least explain?
I already did. We're going back and forth because you want me to explain, and you're gonna say no. That's nothing.
I'm not gonna say anything of the sort. I just want you to at least give for the audience and me too, some description of what you're talking about when you say proffer agreement.
I'll tell you that right now. You're the only one who doesn't know about the proffer agreement, so I don't need to explain it for the audience.
What you call it, proffer agreement? I agree. I had, you know, during the 10 minutes I went to try to find what you're talking about. I couldn't find it. I couldn't. Yeah, I tried to see what you're talking about. Couldn't come up with what you're talking about. And so, you know, I got on there and
I'm not talking about nothing.
And it's just not something that I know that you know, it can be proven or that you can establish. I mean, based on what you keep saying, but
on our 10-minute break, you looked it up. You couldn't find nothing.
It's okay. Now this is what.
In our 10-minute break, you looked it up.
This is what I'll say. That whatever you're talking about, if it holds some, you know, some factual, legal ground.
I just want to know what you looked up on our 10-minute break. Since you looked up something, what did you look up exactly?
I looked up proper agreement. Whatever you said, what you keep saying, proper
so what
agreement.
did you type into Google exactly? What did you type in?
I just told you proper agreement.
Just those words?
Just those words. Just those words.
You just typed proper agreement in Google, and you didn't say Keefe proper agreement or the proper.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that now. How's that sound?
I mean, how did you look it up? And we're talking about Keefe. What did you look up exactly?
Proper agreement. I spelled P-O-P-R-O-P-E-R, agreement. That's what I tell you.
Wait, how did you spell it?
P-R-O-P-E-R, agreement.
That's proper.
A-G-R-E-E.
That's proper. No one said proper.
What did you say?
Proper. And I
Who?
even spelled it for you earlier.
Well, spell it for me again. I'm not that smart.
No, because I don't know if that's the exact spelling, but I know what you spelled, ain't it? And if you researched it, why would you not research CPD's proper agreement specifically?
What is it that you said prosper? I just got a TPD, doesn't matter as long as
You can't hear. You can't hear. You can't hear, and you don't know what you're talking about. So we'll move on to your other breaking news.
Yeah, let's do that. We're going to proper. We got a fight coming up. So I'm gonna talk about boxing.
You can do it. I like boxing. I used to.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get. What do you know about this guy right here? Let me find this guy here. Matter of fact, he might have had a weigh-in today. Moses Atama. This boy is a bad boy. This is a bad boy right here.
Tell me about him.
He's okay. I'll tell you about him. Hold on a second. I'll tell you all about him.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you just a second. I'll tell you all about him. Okay, so he only had 12 fights. Okay, so he's 12-0. Okay. So here it is. Here it goes. It says based on the text provided from YouTube search results. Okay, let me get him on here. I gotta get him on here. Yeah, get him on here because I want you to see this guy in case you see him in person. Because I know you like tall guys. You like at least at one time you like one tall guy. I know. What's that tall guy's name that you like?
Who?
Chris Webber. That's right, Chris Webber. You like Chris Webber. I couldn't believe it. Chris Webber. Chris Webber? I couldn't believe it. You said Chris Webber. I said Chris Webber.
That's funny.
Not Chris Webber. You said you like Chris Webber. I'm like, where Nicole?
You used to like Chris Webber. I sure did.
I said, where Nicole? Come on. Yeah, he ain't a bad looking guy, but he got that's a whole lot of competition out there for Chris Webber. Here's another thing, right?
Webber, just because he was tall though, I liked his look. I liked his face. I liked his dark skin.
Okay, well he had that. And I seen him one time, right? We were at GP the Beast little concert he gave, right? He gave this concert downtown, and we had it was the upstairs and downstairs. So if you had VIP, you were downstairs, and so we were downstairs, and Chris Webber came down there, and because they gave him VIP as well, and yeah, was surrounded by some girls, and guess what? One of the group, I didn't even know she was a groupie until she did this. She walked over there and tried to balance shake.
Your daughter or your ex?
Huh?
Your daughter or your ex?
My ex. Yeah. She went over there, kind of trying to dance with him, and he kind of looked at him and kept it moving. Right? But,
what did she do?
Huh?
What did she do?
Went over there and like she was gonna dance with him, you know. Walked over there and talked, but he wasn't. I don't think he was a dancer because he didn't really dance with nobody. He just kind of walked off. He was kind of like in the middle, you know. But guess what? He liked that cannabis. He liked cannabis. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he liked that cannabis, so he sure did. I was shocked. I was shocked about that. But that was I see right there in the middle of the whole thing. Sure was. Doing his little thing. Anyway, this is Moses. This is Moses the Town. Okay. This guy here, he's 12-0. Good boxer. He's getting ready to fight this guy. I'll show you a picture of this guy here. He's getting ready to fight this guy right here. This guy right here. He's gonna fight that guy right there. Okay, tomorrow's fight, right? So I got Philip Gershevich. I can't pronounce his guy's name for that anymore. I tried to pronounce his name once before. His name is Philip Gershevich, I believe. And he's going to be fighting him. It's going to be a very interesting fight. And this guy here in the rush is going to get knocked out. Definitely going to get knocked out. This guy Moses Muhammad is a real tough guy. Going to get knocked out. Hey, what's going on, son? Well, I'm doing my little podcast right now. I'm talking about boxing. So when you gonna come on the show, man? We can talk boxing. Have to do what? Oh, a live sparring? Oh, a thing like that would be good. That'd be good. That would be good. We can do that. That's a good idea. Do some live podcast with the band. You know, and when you gonna be at the gym next? Okay, yeah, well, I get my minister to do it. But anyway, we got to so talk about this. You know who this is? Moses the Company. He fights on Saturday. Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. This guy, right? He's pretty good boxer. He's really good boxer. That's quick hand. He's gonna be the next heavyweight champion in the world. I can tell you that right now. This guy right here. He's gonna be the next heavyweight champion in the world. He's getting ready for this fight on Saturday against his opponent, Herkovic. Herkovic. You ever hear him? I see him play one time in the game. He lost. Yeah, I see. He fought once. He lost. The guy
Too much of that left hand. Bring.
This guy's fast.
Look how strong he is inside. He pushes him
back into the corner, eats a right and another left. He's trying to hold on, but Atama not letting him. That looked like
it didn't look like
for eager 19-year-old.
Got power. Yeah, but 19 years old. At the time when he was fighting, he was 19 years old.
That was remarkable. The speed, the power.
What a combination.
Oh, the body isn't working anymore. They'll wave it off.
Too much of that left hand.
Oh, massive left.
Look how strong he is inside. He pushes him
back into the corner, eats a right and another left. He's trying to hold on, but Atama not letting him. That looked like
it didn't look like
for eager 19-year-old.
Very big fighter.
Oh, look at that.
That was remarkable. The speed, the power.
Well, see, my co-host
combination.
This young lady right
The body
here.
isn't working anymore. They'll wave it off.
Too much of that left hand. Bring.
Massive left.
Look how strong he is inside. He pushes him
back into the corner, eats a right and another left. He's trying to hold on,
Yeah, you
but
two need to
Atama
get
not
together and
letting
do a
him.
show together.
That looked like a for eager 19-year-old.
That was remarkable.
Huh?
The speed, the power.
Oh, yeah, you always gonna make
What a combination.
Oh, the body isn't working anymore. They'll wave it off.
Okay.
Too much of that left hand. Bring.
He's all right.
Massive left.
Look how strong he is inside. He
Anyway,
pushes him
Back into the corner, eats a right and another left. He's trying to hold on, but Atama not letting him. That looked like
it didn't look like
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, talk to me about something. Yeah, come back and talk to me. Sure. Come back and talk to me.
My mama.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Mama, she could get pregnant just having Daddy explain the advantages of the pill to her. Well, yeah, I've always been pretty well blessed. People are always asking if they're real.
Anyway, so what you have now? So what's the next best thing going? We talked about that entertainment, Dolly, give her some love, and so what's the greatest and the latest? Nicole, or do you have anything that you want to share?
I've seen a couple of things, a couple of news articles, but I don't know.
Yeah, on what? On what? These
Well,
articles on what?
yeah, but so there's this Disney actress. She's
Yeah.
a black girl. She's 39 now, but she was 14 when she worked for Disney and did this movie, right?
What's her name? What's her name?
Her name is Raquel Lee, and her last name is spelled Bolleau.
B-L-L-L, you said?
Bolleau.
Uh-huh.
Eau.
Okay.
I think that's how you spell her name.
Raquel, yeah, Lee Baloo or something like that. Lee Baloo or something like that.
Yeah, you gonna pull it up? So she's suing
Yeah,
Disney.
she said that it says here. It says here some allegations of sexual harassment or something. Or
Yes.
sexual assault.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. She's suing Disney because she's suing them for negligence because she was sexually abused while working for them doing this movie. And she thinks she was sexually abused by a male co-star, an adult male co-star. Okay, yeah, that's her right there. So yesterday I saw that Mark Curry, the comedian / actor, he paid her off. There was a undisclosed settlement payoff to him in 2015.
A payoff to
So
who?
to her.
Okay.
So my brain is just putting 2 and 2 together.
Uh-oh. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, since you're listening, then you must know where I'm going with this.
Well, I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So I'm questioning, was he the male co-star that she accused of rape, sexual assault, sexual misconduct, numerous of times?
Okay, so they would have it says right here. It says former child actor Raquel Baloo. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Alleges in a lawsuit filed last week that a male Disney employee, not an actor, said the employee, what could be an actor, sexually assaulted her while she was filming a network movie in 2001, and that the studio failed to respond to signs of abuse. In other words, she said that they failed to. It was signs. I guess it wasn't an allegation at the time, but it was signs of abuse. I guess, okay, Value was 14 at the time of the alleged attacks, which she said unfolded during the filming of the Disney Channel movie, The Proof Point. Let's see who's on that. Let's see who's on that movie, The Proof Point. The Proof Point. Okay. All right. So you see the Proof Point here? Oh yeah, that's Mark Curry. There he is, right there. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the guy you talking about, right?
That is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, so yeah, that's okay, okay. All right, okay. Anyway, so it's going to say the plaintiff now 39, said her alleged attacker, who was not named in the suit, was a lifelong resident of California who was more than twice as old as she was at the time. Uh-oh. John Doe was an on-set adult middle-aged male employee of Disney who was involved in the filming of the movie, who repeatedly raped, sexually assaulted, sexually abused, and sexually harassed Baloo, according to the suit, which was filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court on Friday. So, something about to jump off here. Mr. Doe's sexual abuse of Miss Baloo was apparent to the adults on Disney set, the suit states. Disney repeatedly failed Miss Baloo. A representative of Disney based in Burbank, California, could not be immediately reached for comment Monday. Baloo's other credits include voice Olia on Disney's The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, and Nubia Ross, and Nubia Ross in The Proud Family original series and movie, according to IMDb. She was also She has also appeared in shows like Real Husbands of Hollywood and films like Stan the Man. She alleges the abuse she experienced derailed her career because she said trauma of returning to a set, according to the lawsuit. Her lawsuit comes amid growing scrutiny of how child performers have been treated in Hollywood. The 2004 documentary Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, revealed allegations of toxic working conditions on some Nickelodeon shows. Baloo participated in the documentary where she opened up about her experiences as a Black actor on The Amanda Show, but she did not discuss the allegations made in her recent lawsuit. Other former child stars have since spoke about the pressures of growing up in the industry and called for stronger support. Protections for child performers have expanded over the past decade, including new on-set advocates and writer rules for adults working with minors. But industry sources told NBC News last week that safeguards remain inconsistent and have not kept pace with growing awareness of the potential mental health effects of child stardom. The alleged abuse toward Baloo occurred in Utah, where the proof point was filmed, often in the man's hotel room after he supplied her with alcohol, as well as on set, according to the lawsuit. Wow. Yeah. On set, Mr. Doe regularly followed and excessively touched Miss Baloo, often rubbing his genitals on Miss Baloo while giving her unsolicited hugs. The suit states, no one from Disney stopped this extremely inappropriate touching and molestation of a child. The abuse continued after the cast left Salt Lake City with the man sexually assaulting Baloo under a blanket as they flew back to California, the lawsuit said. Baloo worked on the proof point, suffered due to the Ballard's work on the proof point suffered due to alcohol and sex, according to the lawsuit. Disney recognized Miss Ballard's sudden shift in demeanor and performance, clear indicator of child abuse and sexuality, clear indicia, is that the word, of child sexual abuse and attacks. Blamed and threatened Miss Baloo, a victim of rape, and Miss Baloo's mother, according to the lawsuit. Let's say, let me make sure right there. Clear, okay, clear in this. Okay, it says, let me read it again. Disney recognized Miss Baloo's sudden shift in demeanor and performance. Clear indicator of child sexual abuse. Okay, that's what it is. And attacked, blamed, and threatened Miss Baloo, a victim of rape, and Miss Baloo's mother, according to the lawsuit. The studio has been protecting and empowering sexual predators, lawsuit adds. It's unclear whether Baloo and her guardian reported 2001 assaults to the police. The suit does not mention any police involvement. Baloo's legal team declined to comment on whether law enforcement had ever been notified. Salt Lake City Police Detective Michael Ruff told NBC News in a statement Monday. We do not have any records involving the name Rodney. This is a quote, there are over a dozen police departments in Salt Lake County. Without further details, it's difficult to know if the accusations occur within our jurisdiction. Unquote, we said. Balloon's lawsuit does not specifically, Balloon's lawsuit does not specify the amount of damages she is seeking. Quote, over the last decade, countless child actors have come forward to bravely share their experiences of abuse by adults in entertainment, unquote. Baloo's attorneys, Douglas Wingdor and James Tim, said in a statement, adding that those responsible, quote, directly or indirectly, unquote, should be held accountable. Wow. So they're going to go after Disney as well. Sounds like to me. What do you think? Oh, well, it looks like we done lost her. Well, she's off and running. But anyway, so that's what's going on with that particular case. This is what Nicole wanted us to talk about. She's not even here. So yeah, but yeah, so we got a lot of things. Okay, here she comes. She's coming back. Oh my gosh, here she comes. She's coming back.
Yeah, well, you couldn't see me or hear me because I was right there. But do you see what I said about Mark Curry? You need to pull that up.
Okay. All right, there you go. Mark Curry.
No, you're showing a picture. I'm talking about he settled. The reason why I brought him up, I didn't just bring him up because he was in the movie. I brought him up because it is disclosed that he settled with her an undisclosed amount, a secret agreement, paid her off, basically. So that leads me to question,
where does it say that at?
You gotta find it. You gotta Google it, Mark Curry. You probably just gotta pull up his name and you'll find articles connecting him with this case.
But you don't hear him very much anymore.
No, but he's lightweight active on social media. He does his own, videos and stuff of his life.
Okay. Well, let me see if we can find something on this gentleman. These are things that I don't usually get into because there's always going to be.
Well, that's why I said maybe this ain't the place to share that, but you asked me what I wanted to talk about. That's what I came across, and I wanted to talk about it, baby.
Yeah, right. Well, it says here, hold on a second.
You don't?
It says Raquel Lee Richards, Raquel Lee reached secret settlement with Mark Curry. Years. Okay. Okay, so let me see, make sure we're on the same page. Okay. So okay, my bad. Let me go back. Let me go back here. Let me see. We're talking about some stuff that okay, don't make the man look bad, but here we go. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. It says Raquel Lee reached. Who is this? This is somebody else. Raquel Lee reached secret settlement with Mark Curry years before suing Disney over alleged sexual abuse. So is this the same person? This looks like the same woman to me. This Raquel Lee.
Same woman. That's what we're talking about her.
Huh?
We're talking about her, Ted. We're talking about her.
Well, that wasn't the name that I was reading.
I was
reading somebody else's name.
Okay, piece it together, Ted, because I don't think you can. I don't know how good you are at this.
Well, that's why you should be doing this, because I really don't know what the heck I'm doing. But anyway, this guy, it says right here, it says this woman right here, and don't call her Raquel Lee below. Okay, so okay, I see what happened. They just shortened her name over here. They shortened her name. So it says Lee. It says Lee. It don't say the last name, which is what that's the difference. It's the same person, but it says Raquel Lee over here. So I guess that's peace.
The question that I posed?
What?
Do you understand the question that I posed that I brought to the
question? What's the question?
Well, I was asking if Mark Curry was the man, the adult male that she was accusing of these sex crimes.
Obviously it is, because there he is right there, and there she is.
That doesn't make it obvious. That doesn't make it obvious, but it brings it to question. Because she said this.
This is proof right here. This is proof. This is obviously some proof right here.
Well, said we know that he paid her off. You just said you don't want to make the man look bad, and you're not even taking anything into consideration. All it says
I'm taking all of it in consideration because I'm showing it. That's what I'm doing right now. But
all you can do is question it, really, because she didn't say who did it. He didn't say he did it. We just know that something happened to her, and we also know that he paid her off. That's all we know.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, because that's what happened, right? That's what it says here. It says that there was a settlement here, and that he was part of the obviously the lawsuit.
But it doesn't know what the settlement is for. So, like you just said, you don't want to make the man look bad.
Well, this is the reason why. I mean, because we don't know what's going on. Like I've been in a situation where people be like, I mean, not very many of them, but I mean, I've been in a situation where people think, okay, they be tripping, and I don't know, it don't happen very often to me because
what
I would say that what I'm saying is that we don't know what's going on, and so when I hear these things happening, I don't know if I can set this up. Actually, it is. So when I hear these things, I'm like, well, there's obviously some situation that's going on. What happened to where Mark Curry felt as if, I mean, because she didn't report nothing. She didn't say nothing.
We can't hear you now. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. No.
Thing back on. It went out. Is what happened.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. Okay, yeah. See, because it went out. Yeah. Okay, so obviously something happened, but she didn't report it right away. And if in fact she got love struck, which is easy to do, especially when you're 14 years old, not really, emotions is not really fully in.
Get out of turn. Ain't nobody got love struck over Mark Curry. Nobody. I can guarantee you that didn't happen. She was 14 and he was twice her age, so he was closer to 30. And you don't know if he reported it right away. You don't know that at all.
You don't either. And she didn't. That's one thing about it. You don't either.
It happened in 2014. He settled in 2015. It sounds like it was reported right away. It sounds like, and she's suing Disney right now because they didn't do nothing about it. So it sounds like it was reported right away. But I'm gonna let you finish because you was gonna dig yourself into a pretty ridiculous hole.
Not at all. No, not at all. I wasn't gonna dig myself in a hole at all because, like I said before, and I'll hold consistent to this.
Okay, continue then.
These situations, like for example, he shouldn't. If she was 14, he shouldn't even touched her at 14. Okay, so at 14 years old, he shouldn't even be close to her because at least. Because these things, for these things not even to even exist, he should have been close to it.
Well, they're in a movie, right?
Well, I'm talking about as far as after the scene is over with. Of course, you're doing a movie that you're in close proximity, but after that, I've never put myself in a position where I'm in close proximity to anybody, especially if they 14, 15, 16, 17, along those lines. When I say that, I have to say some other things, but the point is I'll just go ahead and put it this way. Like, for example, somebody I don't know, I'm not gonna be in that close of proximity to them, right?
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. So working relationship, that's not happening. So he was out of pocket. He was out of pocket just to be, for being even that close to it. If that's in fact was the case. So I don't know, but my point is, it's anybody, anybody in that close proximity, unless they've said, because I've had situations where a person has said that it was 19 when they wasn't. Yeah, so you're like, okay, but in this case, they know exactly how old this person was. So a lot of things can play, can play itself out. But what I want to say is that there's always two sides of the story. In this particular case, he cannot defend himself because she was so young. So I'm not sure what happened. If he got that close to her to where she can at least say something happened, he shouldn't have got that so close where that she could even had a conversation like that. And that's basically how he played himself. So that's what
the problem is that the Hollywood is just full of pedophiles. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of that stuff is coming out now. It's actually been out for years. They used to call it the what's that couch? The casting couch. They used to call it the casting couch, right? And back then, back in my day, when they called it the casting couch, they wasn't bringing up the age of the women and the girls that this was happening to. But now when we look back, we realize that a lot of these women were underage back then. They looked grown on television, but a lot of them were underage. And I'm going back to like the 60s. So like, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe and Shirley Temple. We know she started young, but I done heard a lot of stuff about stuff happening to her. So this stuff has been going on forever, and it just gets passed down to where you get the actors nowadays. It's just a part of the business. It's just a part of the business.
Okay, well, that goes to the parents' responsibility for their own children for allowing Hollywood or whoever to take control over their own kids. They should be there. I mean, no person, in my opinion, that's underage, especially if they're in a professional setting, should be left alone with grown people, because you don't know what can happen to them. And so that was the responsibility of
if you want to, and of course, the parents should keep a better eye on their children. Some of these parents are demonic themselves. Some of these parents sell out their kids. Some of these parents are totally clueless.
Okay, and they should be suing the parents too, taking the kids from the parents if they're so demonic. I mean, that's bottom line on that as well.
Demonic don't mean that it's out in the open. You never know. Hella people are demonic, and they seem like really good people. I wouldn't have never thought Mark Curry would be involved in something like this. He seems like the nicest guy. If you watch Hanging with Mr. Cooper, now maybe if you've seen his stand-up, you might think differently. So that's why I say some parents are demonic. Some parents have sold out their kids, but some are just totally unaware, and they just think Hollywood, that you are what they see you as on TV. And so they trusted a lot of these people we've seen.
Okay, well, in this particular case, it's surprising news to me. However, obviously, if he was trying to sweep it underneath the rug before it got out, it didn't work because now his face is plastered all over this magazine with the woman standing next to him. So to keep it, keep a lid on it, it obviously didn't work. That's another thing that these men, all men need to be conscious of because they get the blame. It's all you're the man, so you did well.
It worked for 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
What worked for 10 years?
It happened 10 years. His payoff happened 10 years ago, or 2015, 11 years ago.
Okay, so that's it. So he paid it off 11 years ago. So now this is coming back to saying that this payoff was 11 years ago, and they're talking about it like that this is this man's character. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying this is what this here. This is what when you put this stuff together, what is being said. But that's why I say that you can't put yourself in a situation where it seems like a person is saying anything without them looking like, okay, no, that didn't happen. That's what I do. I make sure that can't nobody say that. Oh, you did. No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's play the tape. Okay, let's go back. See, and that's basically what these people should be doing, because a person can say anything that they think is going to happen, is supposed to be intended. But that's men's fault, because men, first of all, and I'm gonna say this for all men. They need to go ahead and they need to put themselves first. They should not be thinking that I'm gonna live through somebody else. So if I'm gonna try and get this, I'm gonna try. And it's another thing. People, they do have some insecurities where they feel like, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna get this woman because she's young and she don't know what she's doing and this, that, and the other. And and that is, there's a problem there. But at the same time, these kids should be reporting everything that they think is inappropriate. If they feel like somebody touched them inappropriately, they should say something and quickly. And that'll back people up from even thinking about touching them inappropriately. But for the most part,
a lot of times they do tell and they're not. Nobody believes them. That happens too,
Yeah, what was that? People say nobody believes them.
A lot of times they do tell somebody and nobody believes them.
Okay, so there've been some reports about that as well. But at least if they had the wherewithal to go ahead and say something. Okay, and as I said earlier, if you got, especially when it comes to kids, you have to have some parents around that at least monitor what the kids are doing. I mean, my kids had, their friends over all the time. And I make sure that, your friends gonna go in the room with you, and that's how we roll around here. So I never was, exposed to none of their friends. And their friends right now would say, "Oh yeah, Tanya, how you doing, Tanya? Yeah, I feel like, I want my kids to be treated. So I don't even know if it's blessed because they got a problem." There's some people with problems that take advantage of young people. They got some issues. I'm not saying that this man don't have issues, but that's another reason why, and I should be talking about this. Yeah, I should be talking about this guy. I pride this on controversial subjects, and this is definitely one of them. And so I should be having no problem with having this conversation. However, I'm shocked about this guy right here because I never heard anything before, And so within, and then you got, these things come out, Bill Cosby, but yet Donald Trump can get away with everything. Donald Trump he can do way, way, way more. I don't understand why we ain't talking about Donald Trump right now. We're talking about this guy. We should be talking about Donald Trump, the guy who got 34 felonies, got all these sexual allegations, and the president of the United States. That's what I want to talk about. Huh? Well, we get some Trump news going on, but we got I gotta be I got 4 o'clock, I gotta shut it down because 4 o'clock, listen, that's 4, That's 4 hours of entertainment. Well, that's cool. We can talk about Donald Trump because I think Donald Trump needs to be talked about.
Okay.
Most of Donald Trump's base is running away from him right now, which we talked about that before, right? But there's always going to be some Trump news. Always going to be some Trump news. Yeah. Well, listen, let's watch this for a second. You see where it says should kill Biggie? That's what my man is saying. Should kill Biggie. Should kill Biggie. Tupac killer finally reveals who killed Biggie. And that's, that makes a lot of sense too. But anyway, we're going to get on to Donald Trump. Let's find some Donald Trump news here. If Donald Trump is somewhere around here. Okay, this guy right here says that Trump wants to think this fight is over. Now, do you follow this at all? That's what I should be asking you that question. Do you follow this at all?
Politics? I don't follow politics no more.
I'm here to tell you that this fight is not over. Donald Trump wants you to think that because
you don't follow politics at all. So let's do this, right? Because let's get some Trump news about his inappropriate behavior. We want to talk about politics. We want to talk about his inappropriate behavior. Since we talk about Curry, let's talk about Trump. Trump. We ain't gonna talk about no. We can talk about what they've been talking, what they ain't been talking about for the longest, which is the Epstein files. Nobody. Here we go. Let's look at this for a second.
Newly released documents that were missing from the Epstein files contain serious unverified allegations against President Trump. The Justice Department posted 3 FBI memos describing interviews with a woman who accuses both Jeffrey Epstein and President Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was a teenager. The White House calls the accusations completely baseless. CNN's Paula Reed is in Washington with the latest. And Paula, these were missing from earlier file releases, right?
That's right. And this individual was interviewed by the FBI 4 times. And initially, only one memo was released in that initial batch of documents released by the Justice Department. And that was an interview where she made allegations against Jeffrey Epstein, but not against President Trump. Now, yesterday, these additional summaries were released, and they detail the types of allegations that she made against President Trump, where she describes being introduced to him. She alleges that he asked everyone to leave the room and, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, quote, let's teach you how little girls are supposed to be, and then describes an encounter where he pushes her head down to his penis and then told agents she bit Trump, who then allegedly struck her and said something like, get this little expletive the hell out of here. Now, in her 3rd interview, she allegedly said that she was receiving threatening calls. And in her 4th interview, it's interesting, she told investigators that she was concerned about why she was even coming forward, because the statute of limitations had passed. Now, I do want to make sure we get in here the fact that President Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing. In a statement yesterday, the White House described these allegations as, quote, completely baseless, backed by zero credible evidence.
The U.S. Justice Department has released documents involving President Trump that had been missing, suspiciously rather, from the Epstein files. They include FBI memos from 3 interviews with a woman who alleges she was sexually assaulted by then citizen Trump when she was a teenager. The president has consistently denied any wrongdoing. We should note that the inclusion of interviews in the Epstein files is not necessarily evidence of wrongdoing. It is an interview. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt slammed the release of the documents, saying in part, quote, the total baselessness of these accusations is also supported by the obvious fact that Joe Biden's Department of Justice knew about them for 4 years and did nothing with them because they knew President Trump did absolutely nothing wrong, unquote. As the Trump White House continues to shrug off the scandal, Congress is pushing ahead, voting to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi. The subpoena to testify stems from the House Oversight Committee's investigation.
We begin tonight with a special report on a story Donald Trump has failed to disappear. The secrets of Jeffrey Epstein, now exposed in those millions of new files, which journalists and experts, all of us really, are still reviewing since Friday's release. But these new files have enabled us to update our legal timeline.
all this
which
stuff that was
has
going
reporting
on,
from
but
the
it was
first
she was underneath
2005
the rug
Epstein
by
probe into
bombing this
Epstein,
country,
his conspiracies,
Iran,
his bid
by
to
bombing
evade
this
justice,
country.
and how the long arm of the law did
We're gonna bomb. We're gonna
finally
kill
catch up with him
thousands and
before his
thousands of
death in the
people, and
custody
I
of
don't
the
want to be
Trump
exposed for my
DOJ. So in our
impropriety.
special report right now, this timeline, which we've shown you once before with our
Hold
MS
on a
Now
second. We got
reporting,
some
is
update now. We got
updated
some
with
more
the
update
brand
right
new
here.
revelations from the new
Some more
files.
update.
Now, before I go into this timeline,
We got some more update.
This has been on Breaking News. I'm Ben Meiselas, and this is your breaking news.
Breaking
The
news.
headline, of course, Donald Trump saying, I'm going to change the name of Lake Ontario to Lake America. Don't be distracted by what he's doing. Obviously, we need to take it seriously, but why is he doing this right now? He's launched a disastrous trade war against Canada. Canada is fighting back and going elbows up. Donald Trump has destroyed the United States economy. Everything he promised his voters, they all now realize that he's lied about. Took him some time, but they realize that he's lied about. His approval right now in the United States of people who strongly approve him in the latest YouGov poll is only 13%. Let me repeat that. Trump's approval among Americans overall who strongly approve of him is 13.
Because I am not necessarily. I for years I never even voted. My daughter started almost crying when Trump became when he first was nominated to become president. He was boo-hooing, talking about, Dad, will you please vote? Will you please vote? So I voted.
Okay.
And so this was the second time. I think it was when he was voting for Biden. So I voted. He lost.
Okay.
So he did, come back, and he said, so I said, well, you know what, maybe I better pay attention to this. And then all that stuff came out, insurrection, this, that, and the other. I said, man, that's crazy. And he still, want to be a president. So I'm like saying, how can he even consider him? So I went to vote again. So I've been political ever since. That boy you done brought me way out of the closet. Because I'm like saying, whoa, hold on a second. This is not cool. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you a Trump supporter? I'm just asking you.
I was.
Okay, you was. Okay, well, we're gonna leave it alone now. We can keep going. Because we're gonna talk about this. This what he got to say.
13%. You look at Texas, for example, in districts like Latino districts that Trump won by anywhere between 10 and 18 in 2024. All of these districts have Tallarico favored to beat Ken Paxton, and also the Democratic congressional candidates in Texas 15th, 28th, and 34 are all winning as well. Democrats have actually recruited a lot of great candidates in Texas. Trump's approval is plummeting. We're still in this never-ending and catastrophic war in Iran. The Trump regime threatened economic D-Day against Iran. Economic D-Day. China immediately responded, like laughing at us, mocking Besant. We stand strongly with Iran is essentially what China's foreign ministry said. And then Russia's foreign ministry said the same thing, and their actions said the same thing. Next week, there will be the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and Russia has announced it will continue its nuclear discussions with Iran. Russia doing a $25 billion nuclear deal with Iran. This is in addition to the Bushehr facility, which is already a nuclear plant that Russia and Iran have done in a joint venture. And so the big trading partners of Iran are not backing down at Donald Trump's threats. Quite the contrary. They're laughing in the face of the United States. The United States has never been weaker.
Say it again now. Say it now. What you say?
Can you pause the video so we can have a discussion?
Yeah, sure. Let's pause the video. Go ahead.
Okay, what was your question? Because I didn't even hear that. What did you ask me?
I asked a couple of things. One thing is actually about your grandson behind you.
I heard that part. You asked me a question. I guess about what he's talking about. You said, what do I think about that? Were you talking about the war?
About this war. Yeah, right, about the war.
It's ridiculous. I don't know why we're in war.
Because Trump didn't want them Epstein files to come out. That's why.
How Them Epstein files been coming out ever since he got in office.
Well,
He got in office, but big time after he got in office.
He made a promise that he was going to bring out the Epstein files. That was him making these promises. He was going to bring out, introduce the Epstein. That was part of his campaign speech. And then, of course, nobody knew that he was in the Epstein files at the time. But now everyone knows. Now that everybody knows the Epstein files.
In the Epstein files. To what extent? Yeah, I don't know he was in the Epstein files.
You didn't know that Trump was in the Epstein files?
I think most people heard, whether they believed it or not, that he was in the Epstein files before.
They seen the files with his name in it. They can't talk about it, but they've seen the files with his name in it. They've seen it. They can't talk about it.
What you mean they can't talk about it?
Because you got certain protocols that must happen before you can speak on classified. Well, it's not really. They're classified, but they're okay. So they're unclassified, and then that once they get unclassified, then they goes to another process where you can actually talk about what was in the classified files, and they haven't reached that point yet. So they can't really talk about it. They can see it. They can look at it and say, "This man's Elon Musk is the first one to say it. He was all in the Epstein file. Elon Musk said it because they allow him to go in there and look at all the files. Yeah, he's the first one to say Trump was in the Epstein file. The very first person to say it.
Who was?
Elon Musk. Trump is in the Epstein files. You heard about that, right?
No.
No?
I didn't hear about that, but I believe it.
Okay, well, it happened.
Yeah, everything. I mean, him and Elon was going head to head, toe to toe at one time, which was ridiculous. It was ridiculous him even bringing Elon into the White House. That was ridiculous. Elon Musk at all.
Musk helped him get into office.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, that's why he was in the White House.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what happened. So here we go. Musk says Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. Oh, my bad. I messed up. Oh my gosh. I got so many buttons I gotta be pushing on this. That's what Mama can't wait to hire somebody to do this for me. You need a job?
How much you paying?
Well, what you normally ask for. This is an interview now. Go ahead. How much you charge? How much you ask for your your services?
Still ramping up between President Trump and Elon Musk. The two of them going back and forth. President Trump making some statements earlier today from the Oval Office, stating that Elon Musk is upset, and he isn't sure exactly where the relationship stands, stating that Elon Musk was, quote, wearing thin in his social media post. Well, now, not surprisingly, Elon Musk now taking to X to share even more thoughts. And I wanted to share the very latest as this continues to be a back and forth right here. The very latest comment from Elon Musk is time to drop the really big bomb. President Trump at real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And earlier on in the Oval Office.
Okay, now, have you ever seen that before?
No. But like I said, it didn't surprise me at all.
Okay. Yeah, right. So, that's why I say, when we talk about this, we talk about a lot of people. Let's talk about him too. Okay, man, he's president of the United States of America. And yet, I can't believe it, but ain't nothing happened to him. He's still walking around here, in the Oval Office. I mean, it is what it is, I guess, but I'm just thinking, Hey, you see on your screen, do you see two different camera type things?
I don't think so.
You just see me and you. That's it.
Yeah.
You see, you only see two. Just see two frames. That's it. That's all you see. You don't see four.
Yeah,
You see
just me and him.
Yeah, right. Because there's another. Because there's a this on my side it shows four. I'm just making sure that it's something for me. Being
That's
the
a video. So you can see your changes before you make them, and then once you make them, then we can see it.
no.
If you
It's
select.
what this is. It's got portraits and it's got landscape. You're probably
Yeah.
looking at landscape. But there's another one over here, another frame that says portrait. So it shows that how you look at if you look at a short. If you look at a short video, that's what it shows. See, this is some new stuff that they come up with. And every time they come up with some new stuff, I got to pay attention to how to do it. But I ain't going to be doing this too much longer. I promise you that. I'm going to let somebody else do it for me. Because I ain't going to be going through all this back and forth, But I mean, it's cool. I can do it. I can pick it up real fast. And then for me to do it, I can do it. Yeah, but yeah. So, but yeah, that's what So, but listen, we can talk about anything you want to talk about. What about fashion? What about fashion? And we got 20 more minutes before I'm gonna close the show at 4:00.
We can talk about the food recalls. That's really big.
Who?
The food recalls.
What is that? Food on what?
That have been recalled.
What food has been recalled?
Lots of food. There's like 3 million eggs have been recalled. They could kill you. It started with lettuce. So lettuce, lots of lettuce, been recalled. Blueberries, the ground beef. The Tyson plant has closed a lot of their plants. There's a lot of recalls going on. Some of them are store specific, like Kroger had some recalls on some of their pre-made foods, but there's a lot of food recalls going on right now. A lot of stuff we can't eat. We're not supposed to. I've been chancing it with the eggs, lightweight. Even bacon was recalled a couple weeks ago. I chanced it with the bacon. Popsicles. I texted my daughter and showed her the popsicles. She was like, "Oh, I just bought that brand." I can't see what's on the screen, but if you can read it off, that'd be cool.
Okay, well, I can definitely make it bigger, but I don't. I can make it bigger for sure. What you saying now? I don't know anything about none of this stuff.
I don't know. It's still too little for me to see. So yeah, it's still too little for me to see.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. But anyway, I guess that food recall. Yeah. I don't know anything. Yeah, I don't know about the recalls on the food, but let's see. Let's see, food recall. Oh boy. I don't know that much about food recall, to be honest with you. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know that many. I've never heard that there was a food recall. I mean, you hear about it every now and again, but that's just so prevalent that I hear about it all the time. But food recall. Wow.
Okay. Well, that's enough. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. I thought maybe you wanted to talk about some. Because you're in entertainment. You don't want to see. You don't want to show what I want to see. You busting moves on the your talent, your hidden talent. Dancing.
Yeah, I don't want to show that.
Yeah,
that's Facebook. My Facebook is just like family. If I want to show it,
is it just for family? I didn't know that.
It's not just for family, but my Facebook is mainly family. People who really know me.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, here we go. Here goes something. This is what you want to talk about right here.
Being recalled right now. This summer has been full of food safety scares, including a massive cyclospora outbreak linked to iceberg lettuce that has sickened more than 10,000 people. There was
And now the blueberry.
Does it feel like everything is being recalled right now? This summer has been full of food safety scares, including a massive cyclospora outbreak linked to iceberg lettuce that has sickened more than 10,000 people.
I can barely hear you.
There was
Anyway,
salmonella
so
in eggs and
eggs.
jalapenos, E. coli
They're
in
talking about
frozen
eggs.
blueberries, a recall of bread that may
They
contain
showing
metal
eggs,
fragments,
stuff they showing.
recalled fruit bars that may contain
Yeah, that's on
glass.
the recall, food
So,
recall
is something
thing.
actually going wrong with our
But
food?
I don't know
I
why
asked
it's
food
not
safety
but
experts,
it's
and
not,
the answer
but
is
you can't hear that.
kind of. There are a few things happening at once.
And now the blueberry recall has been up
Can't hear her
class
either.
1, the most dangerous.
Does it feel
Anyway, we're gonna stop sharing right now. We're gonna go ahead now. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was interesting.
We
Very
couldn't hear
interesting.
anything, but we could hear it, but that's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a very interesting show today. I mean, I like the fact that you know that got an opportunity to watch some legal proceedings and the etiquette of courts to see how they work. And I was really, I was really wrapped up in that, and so happy to understand what was going on with the case, knowing that they didn't have nothing to say he was in Las Vegas. I mean, you in Las Vegas and you were supposed to be the leader of a gang where nobody ever sees you. You know? Oh yeah, my man walking around here in his BBDs. Yeah. So
Yeah, it was a great show. Thank you for having me. So
you're welcome. You're welcome.
We'll follow up with the verdict. Are we doing the show tomorrow?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because they probably won't come up with the verdict tomorrow, but when they do come up with the verdict, we'll be able to at least be when they do call it, and it's not guilty. That's what they're gonna say. But I got So, but anyway. Listen, always a pleasure having you on, and it's always Sunday, right? So, hey, folks out there, don't forget to tune in to Kings and Priests, Biblical Agreements and Discourse. That's going to be on Sunday at 2 o'clock, and where we discuss the Bible and what it means, and how it impacts your life, and what you can do to be more closer to God. We can form a relationship. Nicole, she'll be there along with King New Shoes Peanut, giving their insights on what they gleaned from it. So yeah, come on the show. Don't forget to like, follow, hit that subscription icon, and join in with us because hey, we appreciate your support, and we're nothing without you. So go ahead and give your platform a little bit of
So you can find me at Them Parts on YouTube, and I'm also on Facebook, Nicole Yvette Bolton.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, you come and check her out. Yeah. So yeah, we appreciate you. Like I said, and thanks to you, the platform is growing, and we're gonna have some shorts in a few minutes that you can enjoy as well. Today's program and tomorrow's program as well. So keep you informed as to what's going on, build a platform, and keep us all growing in the knowledge of today's event. And that's I'll be here for another couple of minutes, but I think Nicole, that's it. Is that you, Nicole?
Yeah, I'm checking out.
Okay, Nicole, good to see you, and much love, and we'll see you on the next one. Yeah? All right. So we're going the next 15 minutes. We're going to talk about this with Moses a time of fight, because it's going to be a real barn burner of an event. He's the next heavyweight heavyweight of world. He's from he's fighting out of of United Kingdom. So yeah, he's gonna do very well in the sport of boxing. He's gonna definitely put a lot of people interested in the boxing. So let's look at a little bit of Moses Atama real quick here, and we'll get right back at you in a second here. All right. Hold on just a second here.
For obvious reasons, Richie, we're all following his career with real interest. Big left. And the referee's having a look again, and he calls it off. Barthes calls a hold to it. It's another first-round stoppage for Moses Itama. So as he always is, a big guy for the Itama family, and he has his sights set on the very top of the profession. Still 90 seconds in the race to go, and it goes to Towers. Down goes Bruce.
Young man doing fantastic. He's very good. All right, so anyway, so that's what we got for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Once again, I'm Ted King, WOG, grew up boxing, but you're Ted King for everything else. Thank you for